January 23rd, 2022, Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas City, Missouri.
After the third lead change in the waning moments, the Bills capture the lead.
But when things look grim, Pat Mahomes is the Grim Reaper. This is the 13-second game.
Oh, that was sick, dude. That was cool.
Oh, that's a catch.
Welcome to Games with Names. I'm Julian Edelman. They're Jack and Kyler, and we're on a mission to finding the greatest game of all time. And today we have a very special episode coming out with former NFL center Mitch Morse. And if you haven't already, drop a like and subscribe to Games with Names. Let's go. Games with Names, a production of iHeartRadio. Welcome to Games with Names. Today we are looking at the 13-second game, the 2021 AFC Divisional round between the Bills and Chiefs with Mitch Morse. Mitch, in one sentence, why did you pick this game?
I'm regretting the decision right now, to be honest. But why did I pick this game? I don't like myself very much, and I enjoy inflicting pain when I can. And this game is painful.
Sounds like a lineman to me. That sounds like a lineman right there. You know, they don't enjoy anything but pain, it seems like.
Well, it's just more than a sentence, dude. Like, no matter what side of the ball you were on in this one, pragmatically, you take a step back and you look at it just objectively. It was just a good game.
Yeah.
It was a good game. And, you know, like you were talking about off the air, on the air, like, it interjected conversations that changed the landscape of, at least playoff football, right? And does it suck ass to be on the other side of it? Sure, it blows. But, you know, it's one of those games that you'll be able to tell your kids about. And even when you look back at it and watch the game, you can still feel the energy. You know, there's a few games you look at from your past, and they played such a pivotal role in not only developing you as a player, but it's kind of the team as a whole, that you can put yourself in that position. Like, oh, I remember kind of how the air even felt, or the crowd, or the little nuances that for 90% of the games that you lose. But I can put myself in that game right now, how you felt, the moment, the ebbs and flows, all of it. It was extraordinary. It just sucked ass how it ended. I mean,
it's an instant classic for sure. I mean, I'm so excited to get into it. We'll get into it a little later, but is this the greatest game of all time?
I know Bill Burr doesn't believe it is. I know he doesn't. And I know one of you two guys hate this game too.
Oh, I'm a lover.
You're a lover?
I love it. I mean, I know it's painful though.
No, pain is good. Yeah. We were just talking about pain's pure. Like,
as an outside observer. Yeah.
You learn a lot about yourself through it. Do I think it's the greatest game of all time? No, probably not.
What is?
Dude, another one that I was a part of, that you were a part of, that 2018 AFC Championship game.
That was a big one.
But, this might have been one of the more pivotal games I've been a part of. Maybe one of the greater games I had.
What a guy. He brings up two games. What a football lover.
Ball knower.
He brings up two games.
Ball lover, ball knower.
And understands the magnitude of two insanely great games, that he was on the losing side, but being able to compartmentalize.
Sure.
That for the sake of the game.
Yeah. And take a step back and see
that's lineman mental toughness, doing what's best for the sport when it's not necessarily best for you.
Love it.
Well, we'll also get into it here, but that's also what gave you that uneasy feeling.
Yeah.
Right? Because that game, it was the AFC Championship game. I know you guys have talked about it ad nauseum back in 2018, but like, it was a very one-sided contest. You guys, it was pretty much y'all's game in that first half, and then there was a back and forth, ebbs and flows, and then it was to the point where we had to go down on the Chiefs, that being with 30 seconds left or so, to send it to overtime too. So you're sitting there on the sidelines of this one, and the sidelines, you know, rightfully so, the human experience, right? Like, the ebbs and flows of this game, the emotionally charged, you think you have it in the bag to a certain extent, but there is that like weird kind of tingling, uneasy feeling. Because especially, dude, we did this shit 3 years ago on the other sideline. Fuck, dude. It was shitty.
It sucks. But the only reason we talk about that game so much, 2018 AFC Championship between the Patriots and Chiefs, is because the respect factor for your team that you were on at that point in your career, the Chiefs, was so high. You guys were the new girl in school. You guys were the prom king, queen, whatever you want, whatever the highest of the high. We were the old farts just trying to scrap away and try to keep the glory as long as we could.
Hey, did you touch that ball?
No, I didn't.
No?
I really didn't. I mean, it really didn't matter. We threw a pick the next play. We threw a pick the
Yeah,
very next
yeah,
play.
yeah.
Ball. I mean, ball
Still didn't touch
definitely
it. Still
lied.
didn't touch it.
Ball definitely lied. So you retired last year. What are we up to these days?
Dude, you're looking at it. One of my favorite pastimes is just sitting down. I fucking love it. I dig it. And so I'm doing a lot of that. But truthfully, dude, like, I don't know, you're try not to keep an idle mind. We were talking about this. But having full autonomy of your time, just trying to be a dad, yet at the same time, like, what fills your cup up? And to a certain extent, you're still trying to figure that out. But I do enjoy this space, the media space. And that being said, it's been a humbling experience. And that gives a negative connotation at times. It's, talk about pain as you learning. You're learning so much about yourself, the space, but like the art of conversation, like just the chewing the fat. I love it. It fills my proverbial cup up. I dig it. So we're just going to give it a go. And if it doesn't work out, I'll go home, sit down some more, and march on, man.
You know what? It's funny that you say it's humbling. And I felt the same feeling when I jumped into this space for the first time that I felt when I jumped into the Patriots locker room for the first time. Anytime something new is coming in to your life, it's going to feel outrageously uncomfortable. It's going to feel humbling. And just like in football, the more reps you have at it,
Totally.
the better you're going to be.
No doubt.
So everything, like when I started realizing that when I retired, like we were talking earlier, we were herded cattle for our whole life. Since we were probably 8 to 10 years old. Get up, go to school, go to practice, play on the weekend, the game. It's the same thing when you get to professional sports is you're going to school for football, then you practice, then you go and you do it over and over every single day. Now, when you get out of the league, we were given the schedule our whole life. We were given the routine and we were able to doll it up to our, individual specifics. But once you get out, it's about making your routine. That's what we were talking about. And right now, it's going to feel weird because you were institutionalized since you were probably 14 years old when you first started playing football, because that template has been the same for 25 years of your life. So, it's that uncomfort of getting into something new that we all feel once we get out. So, brother, you're in the same boat as everyone else.
Yeah, which is really nice to hear, but it's that pendulum swing, right? Because you yearned for the thought of not having that structure.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait for that first training camp where it's just a Tuesday. I can wake up and, do whatever. But the pendulum's swinging back. And it's been great because you realize, like, I think once you come back from there, truly where your heart of heart lies. And that is having that structure. And so we're just figuring it out on the fly, dude.
I love it. I love it. So you grew up in Austin, Texas. Talk to us about Austin, Texas, and where the love of football came from in your life. Was it high school there?
Yeah, it was high school because football for me really didn't come to the fold till high school. I mean,
big guys.
Yeah,
they're too big for Pop Warner.
No one grows up wanting to be an offensive lineman either.
That's true.
Like, let's just be honest. You at some point, and that kind of goes through with why we were talking kind of fun, and all the linemen enjoy pain, or they're a self-deprecating bunch, or because everyone's dream was crushed. Unless you were just one of those like super hefty kiddos. There's like, if you want to be on this field, you're gonna at a young age strap it up. But I did flag football, which is smooth, man. Like, but you had the ball. You're just the receiver, quarterback, and then you had the kids blocking with the old 1960s arms, right? Austin itself is just kind of, I don't know if you spent any time out in Austin.
Spent a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it's got a good funky heartbeat.
Yeah.
like a blue speck in a red sea, and it's still to its core a really good, funky town. Cost of living has gone up like any place worth living. The hippies smell a little bit better than they used to, but grandma's still smoking skunky weed in the park. You can smell it when you're taking a walk, and it's just good folks, good soul. But sports are still very prevalent. I mean, the University of Texas interjects energy into that town, which is, whatever. I'm not the biggest Longhorn fan now, but growing up, you bleed burnt orange. And I went to a smaller high school where they gave you an opportunity. You remember the first time you put you used to have those big hit pads.
Hit pads. And
these things are, they felt about half the size. And then I remember sitting there not knowing where to put your pads in, and you're trying to put your hip pad. Like, this doesn't feel right. And the tailbone pad, they're like, how the hell do we weave that with this very strange rope? And but I remember just instantly you feel it, man. You feel that, not to be like weirdly cliche or all that stuff, but there is something, it hits you in the soul. Not the physicality of it all, but just the camaraderie of it, like suffering with your buddies. Even at that young age, suffering, you didn't really know the definition of it, right? But it was powerful, and then you gravitate towards it. And then that turned into kind of, my stature grows. I grew about 4 or 5 inches, gained about 50, 60 pounds. And then so the opportunities present itself. But, there's some dudes in the locker room that they had this vision from the jump.
From the jump.
I wanted to be an NFL football player. And my football career is about as least sexy as possible. It was just like, it was the next step was just a happy coincidence along the way of trying to do it right at the time. And that kind of got me through and then once it got to the point of like the NFL, it was just being at the right place at the right time. Now you got Pat, or you got Alex Smith, who taught you how to be a pro. You had Pat, who, was just lightning in a bottle, which you thought, and then it just exploded to this unbelievable consistency of just being a tremendous football player.
Pat Mahomes, that is.
That's
Alex
Pat.
Smith.
Yeah, Pat Mahomes, Alex Smith. And then you go to Buffalo, you got to chase the cheese, and then you find out that the culture's amazing and that Josh is this prolific football player, and then you're just along for the ride, man. So I know that kind of went off the cusp there, but football it's been great, but it was just kind of a happy coincidence.
Man, Texas high school football, insane. I wanted to jump into that, but you already just brought it up. Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes, to Josh Allen. What a trio. What a blessing to have those types of quarterbacks. What were the main differences of those two, or those three?
Yeah, hair probably.
And Trevor Lawrence. Can't forget about Trevor Lawrence in there.
I totally forgot Trevor, and I do believe, I'm not just saying this because I was with the guy, I love the dude. I do think he's on the cusp of finding that, those quarterbacks, those really good ones, they have that freak switch. It kind of goes, and it manifests itself in different ways. It's not this rah-rah thing, but it's this time, it's this moment where no matter the moment, especially the big ones, everything seems to calm down. They step in that huddle, and when they're relaying the play call, it's just like, what the formation, all this stuff, and then they look at the position that it
give a little reminder.
Oh, you just feel it, and he's got it.
Singletary, look to scan on this one, maybe. Watch the scan.
That's the best.
That's the good one. What you're saying basically is, in the high stress environments, the great quarterbacks, they don't act any different.
No, they seem to calm down.
They exactly. It's because they've done it in their head a million times.
And it's just, and I try to put myself in that position, and maybe it's just because I'm a manic weirdo, but like for me, and it's such a calming presence, especially the quarterback. And that being said, we'll go back to your original question of those guys and their differences. Alex was one of those guys. He was year 12 or maybe year 11 when I come in as a rookie center, and the patience he had as a dude who, I played tackle and the SEC, but the Missouri was coming from the Big 12 where we had these like 5-foot splits. We had just started doing 3-point stances when I got there. And you remember for your first 9-on-7, especially goal line or short yardage, I'm seeing dudes I don't even know. I'm like, I didn't know you could put more than 6 people in the box, and now that's 9 up,
Yeah.
And so the patience he had, the patience that Andy had, but he was by far the freakiest competitor I've been around. Alex had, talk about that freak switch. He'd walk in there and he would just lose his mind in the best way, constructively. And you feel like, oh man, this is what makes him tick. This is why he is who he is. And then Pat comes in, and
this is Baby Pat.
Baby Pat.
Baby Pat.
He gets drafted in 2017, heir apparent to Alex, and he's an unbelievable teammate from the jump, right? I'm sure you've spent time with Pat. He's just
great dude.
Solid as a rock.
Great dude.
And then in 2018, he comes in. It's his team, and he starts hot that week one. We play San Diego in the soccer stadium here, which was a kind of a fun experience. He goes, and then it's just week after week, we're waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it doesn't. And I've never seen a dude's life change more from week 1 to week 16 from the outside world, right? And he just stayed the same dude. And I always thought that was going to carry him into being just not only a good player, but just a great teammate, right?
Then you get traded and you sign a fat contract. Or you didn't get traded. You sign a huge contract, $45 million.
Yeah.
Highest paid.
Nice.
Yeah,
center
no, that was smooth.
With the
man.
Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, baby.
And you're kind of introduced to this guy who's a freak of an athlete named Josh Allen. What's his difference? What makes him tick?
You know, but you hear it. He's kind of, people say he's like a puppy dog. I'm sure you've spent a little time with Josh.
I haven't really.
Oh,
And he's a Central
honestly,
Cali boy, and I'm a Cali kid.
Hey.
I grind for those guys. That's a Logan Mankins type.
You guys, that is Logan Mankins. Shout out Logan Mankins. Not to get off track, I had dinner with one of your ex-teammates last night,
Who?
Ryan Wendell.
Fucking Wendy.
Whoa.
My
Wendy,
roommate.
dude. I know Wendy's, I don't know if you've seen him recently.
He's thin.
He's got like veins in his arms.
Of course.
He's got
Vascular
this-
Wendy?
I'll tell
Wow.
you one thing about Wendy. He's a book guy, right?
Sure.
Love that. Love
Yeah.
being a book guy. But when you share a house with someone, you can't read in the communal TV room. We used to fight he would sit there with his it's like 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
We just got motherfucked for 12 hours. I want to go play some FIFA.
Yeah.
This guy's reading a book on the fucking FIFA.
So he came in, and then I know we're all over the place. I'm sorry. But I had to talk to you about Wendy. Wendy, so his first year of coaching, he took his hiatus. It was my first year in Buffalo. And so I'm looking for places to stay. You know, love Buffalo. There's not too many spots to stay. No family, so we just got a little duplex, or we stayed in one of the sides of the duplex. Turns out I share a wall with Ryan Wendell. His family, he's got a young family. I think he had just had one of his kiddos, not yet two, and Meredith, who I'm sure you get to know.
Yeah, Meredith.
Fucking awesome.
Awesome.
And he was an assistant coach, but like I remember after games, we'd go hang out in my garage. He'd come over with Meredith and we'd just drink beers. And it was the first coach I had that was able to, and I think this is true for like guys who played and know it. It's like, we're going to, like inside the building, we'll have a good working relationship and that's that. But then also like, we're all humans. Let's have a relation, like just a good fellowship, a camaraderie. And he was the first coach I really had that was able to marry that.
I don't know what that's like.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
I know you guys had a good thing going on. But he was so of course he was there, but also getting to Buffalo. Yeah. I mean, we had seen Josh in 2018. He had come in a little bit and played against Minnesota and did this like hurdle in Minnesota over this guy. And the whole league saw that. So you saw this this dude had spunk, right? And then you find out that just, he is the best. The really good players, like those superstars, not only have that all it factor playing, but they take the time. And I think this is a special attribute to have as a football player, especially at that caliber. I'm sure, I've heard Tom had this too, right? You take the time no matter who you are. If you're the multi-million-dollar football dude, player in the league or locker room rather, or you're the dude who's the undrafted guy who's, he's only going to be there for a few
The third
weeks.
tight end in the 13 personnel group that you needed to get that one fucking play good.
No doubt. And he takes the time to foster relationships with those dudes. And even in your subconscious, you feel like, hey, I got a piece of the pie, man. I got it with Josh. And then his house would always be the place we'd go to. He built this sweet pad in Buffalo. And that's another happy coincidence because then quarterback, much like any position, it's just time on task. We were talking about it, retirement, time on task, playing football, time on task. And especially at that position where so much information is coming at you at any given moment, and you have to quiet your mind for the little things, but you have to be the master of this whole offense, right? He starts figuring it out, and you're along for it, and he's testing things out. Yeah, he might throw something here or there that's it. He rarely makes the same mistake twice, and that manifests into, now we're seeing, he's already won one MVP, and he's just, it was so solid. I was such a breath of fresh air. And not only they had such a good culture in that building that, you know, not much else is going on in Buffalo. So it's really just, you feel like the camaraderie with the team. I assume a little bit similar with the Pats, right? Like there's something special because of where we are. Like this building has a little bit of a heartbeat. And at the helm, we got a guy who would, you know, put his body, you know, you hear people say he'd put his body out on the line. The dude does not give a shit about his body when he's playing football. It's infuriating, but it's such a rallying cry for a team, and he's got it, man.
It's a breath of fresh air to hear that two of the greats in our sport have that kind of mentality. And it's not a coincidence. You know, all the great quarterbacks, they're great teammates.
Totally.
You know, you hear the ones that will consistently be great for
No doubt.
a long time. Everyone can mess around and have a good year or two, but it's you see it. You know, it's the EQ of those guys that makes everyone want to fight for them. It's when your highest paid player making the most money, the biggest name, is also working the hardest. That's the formula.
And these dudes, like I think of Tom, and I assume if Pat and Josh want to do this, they're going to have this huge illustrious career, and they might be with one team, but they're going to have different iterations of that team. And it's got to be exhausting to think about that. And like a stance, like every season feels like a lifetime, and every season you have your relationships and stuff, and they're going to do this, 15, 20 times if they want to, but they still do it. It's a special thing, man. It really is.
You got to be a kind of a serial killer.
Yeah.
Legit, bro.
Like the compartmentalization of these guys is outrageous because, you know, just like you're talking about with Pat and, you know, and Josh, these guys are great teammates and they're killers on the field, but then they're like great dudes off the field and they do it all day long. They continue to do it. You gotta be missing something.
Yeah, no,
for that.
for
You guys
sure.
are fucking nuts. Now, let's talk about being retired O lineman. What does a dinner look like with a retired O lineman versus a dinner look like with a guy that's active 315?
Yeah,
pumping.
Well, actually, I got beef with Wendy because I was been pretty good recently, and he's this skinny little dude now, but he brought the old inner O lineman freaky ass dinner out where it was just pasta. Because
did he cook?
No,
or you guys went out.
No, hell no. We went out.
Where'd you guys go?
I forget, it was like a place called Ganache or something.
Gosh.
I think I totally fucked that up, but it's like a pasta place. It's one of those cool places where you walk in and the meat locker's right there. You immediately know it's going to slap, right?
Little dry age.
But I'm late, so he's like, I'm ordering you food, the fellas, and he just this fat fucking plate of pasta and this huge steak we're all sharing, and I'm sitting there and I'm just, it hasn't changed as much as you think. It's the little things like, for me, just trying to like what carbs you put in there, right? So I gave so much shit to people who are like the granola, like drinking water out of, you know, a glass bottle. I'm just like, kick rocks. And then you're in it.
Yep.
And I'm like weirdly into it, right? I even did we're
not burning fucking 8,000 calories anymore every day.
No, it's like fruit. You try to slam fruit, potatoes.
Yeah, right. You're getting potatoes and gratin over here, mac and cheese.
Yeah, Wendy brought it out. Fuck him, actually.
Wendy.
He's the man. But yeah, that takes a bit because you've told your body for so long, like, hey man, you got to keep this up. And then once you hit 30, it's like, all right, dude, cool. Here's your wish.
Yeah.
Best of luck. And then you're done. And the stress of it all, like, the thing that really got me was when I was playing and I didn't even really notice it. It was like, I'd wake up to pee every night and then I'd just find myself eating peanut butter. And I'm like, why the hell am I eating peanut butter? It's like, I don't know how the hell I'm going to block Aaron Donald on Sunday.
Now, how much have you lost weight?
Like 30 pounds, maybe.
That's just muscle because you're not hitting it?
Yeah, mostly probably.
Yeah. It's crazy because the linemen, they just shrink. A lot of people don't realize these guys got to eat. I remember we had this guy, Mikey Wright.
It's a solid name.
Yeah.
It's a solid name.
He was from Cincinnati. He was a D tackle early in my career. And this guy hated eggs, but he had to force himself, and he would eat 14 egg whites every morning. And he would almost throw up while he was eating them, but he needed it for the weight. Like he was always under his weight. It was fucking
For-
outrageous
dude,
what some of these guys had to do to
I've
keep
never
weight.
heard even of a guy trying to gain weight. 14 egg whites is an insane move.
Well, this guy was like OCD, like with everything. Like,
yeah.
you know, he was like, "Hey, you want to come over and make homemade ice cream with almonds?" I'm like, "What the fuck is this?"
That sounds like a
Sure.
good time, dude. Did you go?
We
That sounds
did.
that sounds fun.
This is when the
That's
Vitamix just came in. He's like, "Check out this
Yeah.
blender,
Oh, it
man.
sounds
You
like
can
a
make
good-
ice
yeah.
cream with just ice."
Wendy's reading in the living room. That's a nice
Wendy,
thing.
I mean, this is the shit we had to deal with.
Yeah, it's tough.
Wendy was an insane chef, wasn't he? Or
Wendy
still
was
is?
a good chef. No, that was Conley.
Yep.
Conley was the best chef. Or who was the best chef out of the linemen you played
The
with?
best. So actually, probably the center now for the Bills, Connor McGovern. He's solid. He's humongous, and he loves food. But it's like the guys who take the time.
Yeah, no. We used to go to his house for Thanksgiving. He'd have homemade beer, homemade wine. He'd deep fry a turkey, smoke a turkey, bake a turkey.
Just in case.
We'd have like a lot of guys,
Yeah,
but he
yeah.
would do one of each.
Uh-huh.
He made a fucking homemade marshmallow thing, like homemade marshmallows, where he had to go in the garage and make them or something for this hot cocoa that he made to put on the hot. I mean,
I feel like a garage is where you have to make
I hung out
marshmallows.
with the linemen because they knew how to fucking
I feel like
eat.
you don't have to. You can't make marshmallows anywhere except the garage.
no.
Gotta be the garage.
It's got to be the garage.
I mean,
On a workbench.
it was insane. All right, let's get into some of your craft talk. Center have to be one of the smartest guys on the line. You're communicating with the quarterback every play, all day, every day. Who were some of the guys you looked up to when you first got in the league that you wanted to model your craft after?
That's a great question. I was just talking to Tyler Biotich, the center for the Chargers now, because he's about 5 or 6 years younger than me, and you have these different iterations of guys that you look up to when you get in, and it's. Anyways, that being said, when I first got in the league, dude, it was a treasure trove at the position, right? You had the Pouncey twins,
Insane.
unbelievable.
Alex
You
Mack,
had Alex Mack.
fucking flexible.
It was the craziest stance, and he'd always run to the ball, head up, had a motor you would not believe, played 14, 15 years. You had Max Unger, who was with the Seahawks and then ended up with the Saints. You had Rodney Hudson. You had Eric Wood with the Bills. And then, he was only a year older than me, but Corey Lindsley, who's an LA guy, he was with the Packers and all these. Oh, and then Jason Kelsey was doing his thing too. And so you're watching these guys, and it's one of those things where I can sit there and say I'm watching Jason Kelsey or the Pounceys. And I'm like, sure, I want to run. I would love to run like a gazelle, jump over a dude and just absolutely dog walk a linebacker.
Pancake.
But I can't take anything from that and actually apply it to my game. So the guy that I really watched a lot of was Alex Mack, just to learn how to move in like a phone booth. Like for me, I was moving too much. Like learn how to move in a phone booth. And then Max Unger.
What does that mean?
Moving a phone booth is like, so if you come, especially if you're playing tackle, like you think of, especially your first kicker, how much space you work with. That's mitigated every position you move inside. And at center, like, if you move more, like if your first step at times is more than 6 inches or 7 inches, like that's too much. You're going to get overextended. You're not going to have your position of power because off the rip, this dude's sniffing your nose. And if you're not ready, and you don't have that base, or you're not going to throw the hand. It happens so quick.
Speed to power.
Speed to power. Fuck
Gotta
that.
be ready for it.
Yeah,
Anchor.
Yeah, and just to have that anchor and to have that base, especially then with how quickly it's happening, you cannot move or get overextended. Or like the first time a guy is sniffing your ear and you think you have to overextend, and he crosses your face. Like if you don't have your feet in there or you're out, you're going to look pretty silly, and then Dante is going to be up your ass, saying some shit to you.
Oh,
right?
1,000. Are you talking about Mr. Scarnecchio?
I am talking about Mr.
Did you
Scarnecchio.
you never had Scar?
No, I met him in passing once. He worked me out for a pro day, but even that short amount of time, he had a presence about him. And then I talked to Wendy or anyone who goes around and chats about Scar. You hear a few things. One, he would do push-ups.
He was he had the lowest heart rate on the team. We used to compete every year. Our trainer's right there to confirm. 39. This guy used to have a 39 heart rate at 90 years old. He was like 82 years old.
So he's almost dead walking around, right? So
they call that a
dead.
marathon heart. Call it a marathon heart. I mean, but because he used to swim every morning and do all these push. He was fucking he was shredded.
Yeah. Oh, and he was, he kind of had this.
So he'd do push-ups.
He would do push-ups and then if you were a rookie or the first day you were there, he was going to try to break your will the first 3 days, especially in like rookie minicamp, just to see how you do.
I heard that.
Every single person I talked to is like, misery loves company. He's just going to see how you tick. And 3 is that, yes, he might give you the business, but he's also going to love you up when the moment dictates it. And that, he's a good soul, man.
He really is. And, for the guys that weren't linemen, we didn't realize he was always like super nice to us.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I never thought of him. I was like, that's the best coach ever, man. You see the linemen coming out, they'd be like fucking scratching their head out of a meeting. Like, man, we can really get
those,
rip.
man. There's no doubt.
But I did see I heard him coach because we used to do all, when we're watching the offensive film, you'd hear the coaches from the offense coaching the O-linemen. You'd hear the running backs coach in front of everyone. They were coaching. And when you would hear him coach, man, he would get on a guy, but he would also give you the exact thing you had to do to make the play right. He would maybe say, you fat piece of shit, but he'd also say, you take your right hand, you put it under his left, you drop your weight, you do your little set step, or, he would give you the technique.
Totally.
So he's not just yelling at guys, he's coaching them up and just, and he communicates it in a way where everyone can understand.
You're going to hear him.
You're going to hear him.
You're going to hear him. Yeah.
I don't know if I made that right.
No, I think you did.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna get your attention a certain way, but then he's gonna give you the gold.
1,000%. And that's what good coaching is guys that can teach you and tell you and communicate what you have to do. Don't yell at me and say, we got to do better.
No.
Tell me I got to do something. What do I got to do to get better?
No doubt.
And that's what the good coaches do. Who are some of the good coaches you had at the offensive line position?
Great question. 2 come to mind immediately. One is the head O-line coach for the Chiefs still, Andy Heck. He's been there since Coach Reed got there in 2013, and he played 13 or 12 years in the league. So that which is great. I've always appreciated guys who have played or like those coaches who have been in there for a bit. And both of those kind of fall in the same category of understanding what the toll it takes mentally, physically, or like to actually be able to achieve what they're asking. And he, oh man, he's a great dude. He's one of the greatest teachers of the game. I remember learning teaching his coverages and the way he would ask. And, he's very stern, but he wasn't a dick. But he would also my favorite thing about him is if you messed up on the field, he'd be like, what were you thinking here? And a lot of the coaches would be like, what are you thinking here, you dumbass? He legitimately wanted to see how you processed information because his whole thing was like, maybe certain dudes receive information at different frequencies. I want to match your frequency so I can explain to you, because maybe what I'm saying, what makes total sense to me is just falling on deaf ears. But he was also a dude that, if you had a young, pliable body, was going to work you to the bone in the best way. They also, the Chiefs, believed in trial by fire. I assume similar to New England, which is just like, you're going to get better through about 1,000 reps, and you're going to sink or swim, and we're going to give you every opportunity to swim. And Coach Heck was right in that category, and was a beautiful teacher, but very monotone, and still one of my dear friends. And the other one I can think of is a recently retired O-line coach for the Buffalo Bills, Aaron Cromer. And he was the catalyst for the 2018, the 13, you guys beat him 13-3, but that offense in Los Angeles with Todd Gurley, he was the offensive line coach and run dude for that team.
They were very good.
They're unbelievable.
They
right?
were, I think they were like the highest scoring offense in NFL history that year.
Remarkable team. And then he came over to Buffalo in 2022 and really revitalized that offense. And you've seen James Cook do his thing the past few years, and just his ability to, because he's the exact opposite of a Dante. He's not going to motherfuck you. Now he's going to give you autonomy. He's one of these things is everyone doesn't move the same way biomechanically. How I get out of my stance, my position of power. Now we're all at the point of contact and to be in the same place, kind of this symbiotic organism that thinks in the same way. But he's going to sit with you and talk with you for a few hours about how, all right, if this isn't how you want to do it, how are you going to do it? But now that you have ownership of it, he's going to hold you accountable because like, hey man, we sat there for an hour and you talked about this is how you want to do it. And to give that freedom, especially at the point in the career that I had him, two very opposite guys, both brilliant minds. And it just shows you like there's so many there's a lot of incapable coaches, which is wild in this league.
I've heard that right now at the O-line position from insiders, players. He said it's malpractice right now with some of these offensive line coaches.
There's a few of them. We'll leave them nameless that they shouldn't be doing.
And it's the most important. It's honestly one of the most important aspects of the game. Been in TV for 5 years. 5 years now. Every first 3 months of the season, we talk about offensive line problems. What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing out here?
Well, it's the one. It's
also the practice, lack of practice, the new CBA. I mean, there's so many reasons to it, but it needs to get going.
It's such a volatile position. The no shit moment where there's 5 dudes trying to work is we talked about that symbiotic deal, whatever. But the offense, I feel like always when you first get into training camp, the offense always takes a little bit longer than the defense, always, and then the offensive line always in certain aspects, especially the run game.
It's because you guys got to practice the hitting. You can't practice in passing camp and organized team activities and mini camps. Those are in fucking diapers. We're in just helmets. Big linemen, yeah, they block and stuff, but they're not really doing. It's not the same. It's the lack of padded practices, which those guys, the padded practices is mostly the most important for the linemen.
A lot of linemen look forward to padded practices because you get to something to grab onto.
1,000%.
And then you get to work it's not even just like when people think about it, it's not just like the running off the ball and moving guy from point A to point B. It's like, all right, well, subtle hand placement and pass protection. Where can I grab the collar? Can I do this? Or how, like, be a part of offensive line play is holding people.
Yeah.
But there's an art to holding people.
Inside, keep the hands inside.
Keep your hands inside, keep your elbows in. You can only do that so much to a certain extent with shells.
Yeah.
But with pads, that's when you really get to work on, of course, and also like, how do you throw? You hear about throwing your hands. You can only do so much throwing your hands with shells, but like at what place am I going to hit pads when I'm actually going to emit power, my position of power through the palm of my hand? You kind of have to have pads to do that. That being said, like I do think, and that was a great thing about Kansas City and Buffalo to a certain extent is like, I assume New England, it's like, well, we got padded practices. We're going to use them.
I hear about that a lot. I hear about Andy Reid's practices and training camps and how they're really hard. Explain that. Explain how hard these practices are.
Man. Yeah. So the rules changed probably my last year there and just time on practice. But if there was 3 hours to have, you're going to have 2 hours and 50 minutes worth of practice. And, I just, you go to St. Joseph, Missouri, which is, a place.
Hot.
And it's actually strangely hot, like on fire hot.
Those Midwest towns, they're
getting
sneaky.
hot.
Sneaky
They're stamy. And, every day you'll do your ND for 45, you'll do one-on-one pass rush or 7-on-7 for about 25, 30 minutes. And then you'll do, your team blitzes and all the stuff, your situations. And then you might just do one rack of 11 on. And then you'll do a situation. And it's either a full go 2 minute. And then if it goes too quickly, you'll do 2 of them. Or I'm sure you've heard you'd end with a long drive drill. And long drive drill for Andy is one of these things where he wants to, this is not so much technique. Like by play 13, you're leaning on each other.
Yeah.
He always associated with like what wrestlers have to go through. It's like immediately when you're wrestling, you're going to get to this point where your body is telling your mind, please, I got to stop. But what he wants to do is train your body and your mind to push through that moment because you're going to have an 18-play drive in the season. It's going to come up at some instance. It's going to. So the 1s versus 1s would go for 18 straight plays. 2s versus 2s would go for 12, and 3s versus 3s would go for 8. And he'd throw about a 30-second water break in about 9, and you couldn't substitute. So these guys, and the defense really actually probably got screwed, especially the D-line more than the O-line. But you're just leaning on guys, but you do kind of have to go through that. And also more than anything, the thing that's not talked about, is those two, the one thing I do miss about football. I don't miss playing. I got nothing left to give. What I do miss is like those really, that 1 or 2 days in training camp where you didn't sleep for some reason. It's also the one day where coaches told you like, hey, we're doing 56 plays of team. And God has a sense of humor, so it's also hot as shit.
Hot.
But you get through it. You actually might even go through, you might even crush the practice, right? It just was a good practice. And you're walking off and you have those 2 hours between that and your first meeting where you get in the tubs and you go eat. And there's something about going through that and you're almost in like this weird hysteria, not hysteria, but just kind of this weird case of delusion because of what you had gone through. And you sitting in the locker room after the cold tub or maybe in the cold tub, like those moments, what that does for a team.
Yeah.
You can't, you put that in a pill form, pal.
No, I mean, you also got to think about the other side. When you had the worst practice after those 2 hours, those 2 hours leading into the low lights that you're about to watch, maybe think you might get cut a couple times. Am I going to get cut today? Am I going to get I'm getting cut today. I'm cut.
You got to tell me about those because it's lore about the low light.
You got to, well, just like you said, right after, practice, you have about 2 hours. Guys would take a nap. Guys would go get a lift. Guys would go do psychological training or something. There was something to do that you could do for those 2 hours. And as soon as you would get in to that first meeting, we would meet together as a team and there would be about a 15 to 30 play cut up. And it could be from anything at practice that day. It could be from the individual drill. It could be from the one-on-ones drill.
Oh.
It could be from the 9-on-7 drill. And it just highlighted examples on what is good effort, what is a good play. And then there would be lowlights of this is not what we're looking for. This is the program of what we're not doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like one of those things where
no one was safe.
No one was safe.
Yeah, that's tough.
But it was one of those things where it's a different time and there's so many ways to the top. At this time, this specific time, it almost galvanized us together in this moment where like we're all shitting our pants about this. And it was kind of like us versus him. And I think he did that on purpose because the times he did give you a slap on the butt, it made you feel like, holy fuck, this was the best day ever. And then those times where it wasn't, you thought you were getting cut, but then you knew you had to bring your A game the next day at practice.
Because
every day on good teams, you either win it or you lose it. There ain't no fucking staying the same. You either won the day or you lost the day.
Yeah.
There's no staying the same.
They gave words power. Like when you got the praise, you knew it meant something.
It meant something.
And then when you got shit on,
oh man,
it definitely meant something, huh?
It meant something. You light a fire up. What's the best coaching point you ever got?
Oh, the best coaching point I ever got, like technique wise, was actually Andy Heck, my first O-line coach. He said, your elbows only have so many punches. So you might as well throw those hands as hard as you can. Because no matter what, if you don't throw them or throw them hard, your elbows only got so many. So you might as well just punch people as hard as you can within yourself without reaching. And he was right. My elbows are cooked, dude. They're gone. The best, like probably broad spectrum coaching advice I got was, what's interesting was I had a coach, I forget exactly who, but I was a young player and I didn't have a family. And I thought, I had so many instances where I would just find myself on a Wednesday in season being at the facility till 8 p.m., like doing another round of contrast or doing this stuff. And it's like learning how to like, hey, there's also the art of removing yourself the best you can. You have to unplug, even if it's for 2 hours at night. You have to.
Yeah.
Because especially as a young player or when you're still figuring this thing out, no matter how you look at it or no matter how much mental fortitude you have, especially those young dudes, they're going to go through it. That proverbial rookie wall. Some guys it lasts for games. Some kids it lasts for a day. But finding a way to remove church and state, and he even used it as like, all right, there's a handle for me, even as a coach. There's a handle and there's a door I walk through every single day. I don't change what door I walk through. And when my hand hits this handle, I try my best to flip the switch on, like, all right, I'm in work mode. And then when I get to my, I leave my desk, go outside, get in my car, throw my seatbelt on, I drive home. When I actively put my car in park, that's when the other switch flips. And finding a way to do that, whatever that works for you, you have to remove yourself in some capacity, or you're going to burn yourself out, even if you think you're a superhero. And then you're going to have these lulls, and it's going to affect everyone around you.
Yeah, it's no way to live. You got to reboot.
And it's hard, dude.
Hard. I never rebooted. That's why I burned it out.
I don't know.
burned out.
Yeah, well,
I lived at the facility.
if that's okay.
I burned it out. I lived in the training room. I got my trainer here right now. This guy fucking hates me. I don't know why he's here. He works so much.
Shout out, Jim.
Now, lastly, before we jump into this game, I've always wondered, give me the POV of the center in the whole huddle situation. When you call the huddle, where are you standing in the huddle? Are you breaking the huddle? How much pride does the center have on the huddle?
How much pride does the center have? That's, we're a very prideful bunch, Jules.
But the huddle, the center always sets the huddle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sets the huddle.
So you're always looking for, immediately your eyes gravitate towards the side judge to at least know where, the ball marker is.
So then we're setting the huddle. How many
we're
yards
setting
behind?
So usually, some coaches want it 5 or 6, usually 4.5. Enough where you can still break the huddle and have a few strides to get to it. You don't want to break it. And there's a few times where you accidentally break it and you turn around, it's right there. Like, that kind of blows. But, so you set the huddle, everyone comes through. There's the personnel shift. Sometimes you're getting it and you're hearing the personnel shift or, change. All right, so zebra's coming in. We were expecting nickel, all this stuff. And then you immediately, while that's being kind of decided and worked through, you get your eyes towards what shifts they're making or what personnel groupings are coming in, or if, certain guys line up in a certain way. Really the first thing you see is if it's base or nickel, or if it's base presented as nickel or the opposite, right? And so you already know, no matter what the call, you're already going to set yourself into.
Why is that important for the lineman?
Because that starts every single rule that you have, right?
So what is base versus nickel? So base is when...
So base versus nickel in regards to an offensive lineman is the amount of known rushers.
Okay.
Right? Because you can look at it as all right, the base front for the Bills is a 4, at the time, not anymore, is a 4-3, but then their nickel's 4-2. But for us, I'm thinking, all right, how many down linemen are there, right? So 4, or if it's like a third down pressure package, there's only an odd front, but maybe we're going to have odd rules, or they're going to present it as a 4 down, in which case we have to designate one of these guys as the known rusher, so that our 4 down, 4 known rusher rules, especially in pass protection, can apply. You get the play call, whatever is pertinent to that. And then if it's a certain run, if there's some sort of motion that's going to bring in either, that cover 6 safety, or move someone out, or shift, so that's moving. You break it, and then immediately...
But you have to know the shifts and movements because of the timing of the snaps.
Totally. And it's not like every single one. There's a ton that you just don't, I don't care. But there's, especially in certain formations, or you have mostly duo schemes, especially when you're trying to move in, or you're depending on if your receiver's going to come out and you're going to dig out that dude, which is fucking awesome, by the way. Always love
baby.
Yeah, we'll always love the fellas that do that. You starts off always, usually the huddle always starts off with the cadence. You quarterback, hey, we're just going to be on this, and then you're going to get the play call, and then you usually end on cadence too. So the same thing happens to you. You just try to set the guys' tones, because they're trying to digest so much information out there. Like, hey, it's yellow. And then now we're going through it. So, and even if it's their subconscious, they know it's going to be on 2 if yellow's 2. You go through it. Usually it's, run protection. It's the mic or whatever is designated on that. A lot of the times you can omit the mic call. And I know that's kind of sacrilege for the Patriots, but the nice thing about that is that's mostly on the offensive line, and the quarterback can move you off of it. But if it's pass protection, you're thinking about your 4 down and 5 down rules, your known rushers. If it's 5 down, usually that means it's going to be a 5-on-5 call, or a 6-on-6 call, or even if it's a 7-man pro, whatever, 7-on-7, 7-man on 7-man. And then you just think of if it's a weak protection or a strong protection and what that looks like. Is the cap, is it a 3x1 or is it a 2x2? Do I have to, especially if it's like a weak side protection and we're responsible for that outside, do we have to kind of account for that dude who's capped? Is this a position that looks like they might cap? And then as a center, you do the best of your ability. And then the quarterback has, of course, the final trump call. But usually you're on this symbiotic relationship that you know. Or sometimes the great thing is like if he knows, he just does it out there. And listen, as a center, you like to think, the coaches that would ask you to be like, all right, I need you as the center position to look out there at the secondary and see what that. I'm like, I got short arms. My gut is going into my lungs in my center stance. I'm having a hard time breathing, right? And I can barely look past my tackle. So then that's when you really get that communication with the guys, and through 1,000 reps and they know what information you need. I know what information I need. Of course, I'll be the trump call, but at the same time, if you got to trust your dudes out there because they're seeing shit that I can't.
Yeah.
And then it's one of those things that's also super fluid, and that's one of the great things about the center position, and what would kind of get you outside of sometimes overanalyzing everything else that was going on. It's like, well, I have the memorandum that I need to give to the offensive line. I have my checklist, my proverbial checklist, but that kind of calms you down and gets you into the routine. We're talking about routine, especially at center. Every play has such a routine. Every position does, for sure. I'm assuming you have the same kind of diagnostics going through.
For eyes, eye routine.
No doubt.
Where you put them. Now, what percentage of the time are you just sitting there looking at like one of your guys and say, hey, we got this, we got Ringo. They didn't get a lick of the play call, and they look at you and they're like, yo, what do we got? How many times is that happening?
Yeah, it just kind of depends on where you are. If that horn's playing and it's third down, Foxborough, which fucking sucks. That's going on, and the crowd's going nuts, and like that is, you make what's the word? A concerted effort to slow down your movement and you are looking at these guards' eyes, and you're making sure you're hearing the things where you get in each other's ear so they can relay the tackle. You're not talking to the tackles at all, right? The guards are, they're playing telephone in the worst way. And then sometimes you're at a point, especially with young dudes as I got later in my career, it's like, listen, I have to get you that information any way I possibly can. If that means to get your attention, I have to motherfuck you. I will. I promise you, I love you to death. And it was a rarity because I'm kind of a pacifist in general. But listen, I will love you up on the sidelines, especially when we get this thing down and we're all together. We'll have a laugh about it. But like whatever it takes for me to get this information to you, especially because usually those moments where we can't hear each other are the biggest moments.
40 seconds.
40 seconds.
You only have 40 seconds to get this shit going.
No doubt. So I got to get this information to you. I'm sure it's the same way for everywhere else. Like, I'm going to do this in the best way, but sometimes I just got to get in your face and fucking yell at you. And, I'd hope you do the same thing for me to make sure that I know what's going on. And, and the thing that I hate the most is when they pan to the sideline and guys are getting spirited on the sideline sometimes. Like, oh, look at these guys are at each other's necks. Or it's like, no, it's just it's the spirit around the game in the moment. Yeah. And I promise you, these guys are buds. They're working through some stuff, but also like, they're going to be better for it on the field in the next drive because they're all in on this together. They're working together as a team and figuring this thing out.
A good motherfuck session is always needed sometimes. I was a guy though. I would give a motherfuck.
Yeah, and you can do it in a constructive way.
Yeah, helmet toss, ear pad out, breaks off the helmet, maybe a little urgency. Sometimes you just need a little juice.
Yeah, you seem like a guy whose helmet was never safe.
Never.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes it was just like,
there goes Jules' helmet.
Well, sometimes if practice was like shit for me or something, I needed a little juice. I'd fucking throw my helmet just to get me going.
Yeah, no doubt. I was very, my disposition was very even keel.
Well, you're fucking center, baby.
I know. It's like, like a mute, man.
Calls.
Yeah, no.
No.
It's
all
great.
right. Let's go back into time and go over some pop culture around when this game took place. It wasn't too long ago. It was January 23rd, 2020, 2022.
22.
Man, 2022. Number one movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. Easy on Me by Adele was the #1 song. Scream, Kingsman, and American Underdog were all in the box offices. Will Smith got slapped. The 94th Academy Awards. What'd you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, tough, dude. It was tough.
I didn't know if it was part of the show.
I thought it was a stick for sure.
And then it wasn't. It was, honestly, you got to tip your cap to Chris Rock for being a pro.
Pro's pro.
He kept it going.
Man.
No doubt.
Man, the Rams won the Soupy. Aaron Rodgers got his last MVP. And Georgia, this was when the Georgia guys were unstoppable those few years.
Yeah.
Who was the craziest alumni group that you ever encountered in the locker room?
Because
for me, let me tell you mine real quick. For me, it was the Florida guys.
I was going to say Florida.
Fucking Florida. We had a bunch of Rutgers guys for some reason, Bill and Shotniano, whatever that guy is. Who are the guys for you?
Yeah, I would say Florida.
Florida.
It's something in the water in Gainesville.
And we're kind of in that age range where you're probably like 5 years younger. That time, Florida was really good. We had like 10 Florida guys on our team.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they were a little loose in the locker room for sure, but dude, they had the spirit about them playing football.
Oh, they
man.
balled. They were fucking good, man. They were hella good. You a movie or TV guy?
I'd say less now as a dad than I'd like to be.
Yeah.
Like as much as that 5-hour plane ride sucked over here, I was just digesting as much as I possibly could on the screen.
Dude, I always thought the best rest I always got was on the planes and on the buses.
Definitely there.
You know, when you were playing.
Definitely
and like
there.
even nowadays, like when you're on the flight, you're not in dad mode or anything.
100%.
It's kind of like you get to crunch. Even when we were playing, you know, you would sit there and you'd have a 45-minute bus ride to Providence or wherever you're going. And you get the best rest of the week there because it was like everything's done.
Nobody can get to you.
No one can get to you. The work's in.
Were you able to sleep on the plane ride home after a game?
It depend on how my body was.
Yeah.
But I was always pretty exhausted.
Yeah.
We'd always have our iPads like later in my career. So I would watch the film right before.
The guy would come down and collect the iPads from you. And,
And so I would go to Teddy or Jared. I say, hey, give me the goddamn iPad. I got to watch these reps right now. Get to know what I was going to get motherfucked on.
Oh, man. Did you do that, Mitch?
Yeah, sure. Nice. Yeah, no. The thing, by the time I was retiring, that they had a guy, like an ops guy, an intern would come through and he had just a little plug-in. So he would do that and it would take about 5 minutes for each iPad. So guys were just able to give their individual iPad.
Oh, that's sick.
So we were all able to go through it. And it was, you know, if it was a fun game you go through. But even like the good games, you'd sit there and I would still only dwell on like the one or two that was like, how the hell, what was I thinking?
You know what? The coaches always say it. Chad O'Shea used to say it to me all the time after a practice, whether it was good or bad. He goes, the film's never as good as you think, and it's never as bad as you think.
That's another one of those great coaching.
You know what I mean?
Chad,
never,
shout out.
So solid.
Never as good as you think, it is never as bad as you think. And it's goddamn true.
But it always was just as bad as I thought and was never as good as I thought.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that sucked. And you're right. I'm looking at it. This is dog shit. And then I was like, oh, I had a pretty good game. Nope.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Man, did you watch that? Did you see that Kurt Warner movie?
American Underdog?
American Underdog?
No, I didn't. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it.
No. What?
It's wild they made a Kurt Warner movie.
They made a Kurt Warner movie.
Wild.
I mean, he was bagging groceries.
He was bagging groceries, playing for the Iowa Barnstormers. It's movie worthy.
It was a great story. Well, who's an NFL guy that would have a great biopic right now?
Ooh.
Right now, I'll tell you a dude who kind of flew under the radar. There's a guy named Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. He was a guard for me in Kansas City, French-Canadian from Montreal. And he had an incredible story where like he grew up on a farm in Montreal, and then his parents were going to go from farmers, and then they went to bakers. But before that, they built a sailboat, and they sailed from Montreal down to Cape Horn and back. So for a year and a half, his high school was they'd be taught on this boat, and then they would just drop them off at a random island with some random people. Be like, your lesson today is just learn.
What?
Or they'd catch fish and do that. And so then he comes back, and his parents open this bakery. And they end up having like going to, I didn't know this was a thing, but like there's like a baguette competition, like a world baguette competition.
Oh, yeah.
They win like second best or third best baguette in the world. He doesn't speak English, but goes to McGill University, learns English while learning medicine, becomes a doctor, like a surgeon, plays good enough football. The first time he ever played football was at college, gets drafted in the 6th round of the Chiefs, ends up starting for 8 years, wins the Super Bowl against San Francisco. And in his offseason, he would go from playing football to being a surgeon and getting his residency. He owned, at one point, 100 chickens. Would get his own maple syrup from the trees. And he, when COVID went down, he took a year off, did emergency medicine.
I remember
COVID.
this guy.
Bro, now that you say the emergency
remember
medicine
the guy.
part, yeah. The most
What a
interesting man in
stud.
the world.
And when a mall, I mean, he ended up playing so well, he got like a 4 for 40, and at the time for a guard that was really good.
What is he, Arnold Schwarzenegger in Twins?
And now, dude,
Fucking grew up on an island?
no, it was crazy. No, so and now he does. He was just over for the Winter Olympics in Italy doing a correspondence for Montreal, like for the French Canadian. He's an unbelievable dude, smart as a whip. No matter what he does, like when I got in there, he was his first year. He'd just come off of just kind of not a red shirting, but just, he was not suited up, and he was learning guitar and Spanish. Brilliant mind.
Lineman.
And now what he's doing is he's doing more schooling so that, because the healthcare system in Canada is a little strange, but there's like this, I don't know if it's an application or something where you can, especially in rural Quebec, and if you need a surgeon, the hospital can rent a surgeon. So he's getting his pilot license so that on like the weekends, he can go be an emergency surgeon at these rural places and then come back. The dude he would come back with the coolest off-season stories.
Wow.
Like, what'd you do, man? I went fishing a couple times. What'd you do? Like, this guy came in with, his leg missing, and like, fuck that. And of course, we'd always ask him for like medical. Like, this kind of hurts. What the hell? And he was really cool. He's like, I can't tell you. And then he'd kind of be like,
No, I used to ask guys if they needed medical attention to come over to me. Well,
Yeah,
so
Dr.
many
Jules will
goddamn
see you now.
surgeries. I'll tell you what it is. Shit, you're
into
out
my
3 to
office.
4. You 3 to 4 weeks.
What was if you said one part of your body got worn out more than the others?
My left knee is pretty bad right now.
That's a nice position's nice.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't hurt right now. It's just when I walk a lot, I wore out the whole medial side of my knee.
Mm.
And I try to get like at least 20,000 steps a day just because I'm out running.
Yeah.
And like, if I get up to, I know when I'm at around 22,000 steps by how my knee feels.
Mhm.
Like it just feels like it's just wearing out.
Yeah, that's not
Other
it.
than that, like, I mean, yeah, there's bumps and bruises, and we all know pain when you wake up.
Sure.
But the fact that I don't have to go and perform or like practice, like I'm sitting there, I could be in pain. I'm like, oh, I'm fucking great today. What's good? What are we doing today? Because you don't have to go doing it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? All I got to do is talk now.
Well, and not to pander, but even from the outside looking in, you had a warrior spirit. I remember there's this one game, I don't know what it was. If it was in 2018 or 2019, maybe when I first got the Bills, we're playing in New England. You cracked down on some dude, and I thought you had died. Like you had knocked yourself completely out. And then you're back in like 4 plays later. I
don't think I was back in 4 plays later, but I had to go in the locker room for that, remember?
yeah.
And I came back.
And like the crowd's like, oh my, am I supposed to be bringing this up? Was that smooth? That
Or was that the
Not-
rib? Oh, it could have been a rib.
was a rib?
Yeah, I think I broke the cartilage in my rib.
It was
Tore
one
it.
hell of a block.
0 missed practices.
There we go, baby.
We were flying in. For like the first 2 weeks, we had like a rib specialist because this was the same year that Tyrod Taylor punctured his lung.
Yes.
So they were flying in a rib specialist because
Oh,
everyone was
that's
scared to
right.
shoot up the
Yeah.
ribs now.
Oh.
So they could do the ultrasound to shoot it up for practice. And it was crazy.
Bro.
No, the ribs.
The ribs are the worst.
Gnarly,
you
huh?
can't do anything. You
Like a sneeze
sneeze
is going to kill you.
I was always cool if anything was like not a lower extremity. So like if I felt if my shoulder or my arm or my hand or rib, like if it wasn't your lower extremity, you could go. Try to go. But I mean, everyone was like that. Everyone's like that. A lot of guys are like that. Yeah.
No, dude.
Is that warrior spirit, man?
No, sir.
What were you like in 2022?
What
were you like right now? You're sitting here. You just got over to Buffalo.
Yeah.
So where are you in your life right now?
Where am I? Actually, it's a great question. I just had my son about 10 days before this.
Oh,
game.
wow.
Let's go.
So we had played the Jets in the last regular season game, and they flexed it from a 1 to a 4, which kind of stunk. But my wife was in Kansas City. That's where our off-season home was. And we had the induction set for that next day. It's 5 a.m. So we played the Jets, caught a flight that night, landed in Kansas City about midnight, drove home, took a nap, went and had an induction date. And then we'd found out on the plane right back, because you were waiting to see where you're slotted in the playoffs. It went from Sunday. We got the Saturday, at least it was a night game against the Pats.
Yeah.
And so anyways, had my son, flew back. So in a really good spot. Just had our second kiddo. I think it was my 7th season in the league. And it was a super interesting season because it had its ebbs and flows. Like we had all these expectations because we had just went to the AFC Championship game the year before. And I think we started off with a brutal loss against a good Steelers team. But, and we're at a point, I think we're 6-5. At some point we go down, and maybe more, maybe 7-5. We go down to Tampa, and we played, Tom right off after he'd won the Super Bowl and Gronk, and we were down by 28-3. We end up getting it to overtime. We end up losing the game. Chris Godwin goes off. Great play. But that was a catalyst for the back half of that season where we kind of felt like we hit our stride as an offense. We knew what we were going to do. We'd come off that Patriots game in the playoffs where we didn't punt. It was a really solid time. So, but we knew that walking into Arrowhead against at the time, the Titans of the AFC, right? It was going to be we had gotten the better of them in the regular season, but that doesn't matter. Worth a damn when you're in the postseason.
It doesn't matter. Now let's talk about those Titans, Jackie. Let's break down these Kansas City Chiefs and jump in the game.
Go to these 2021 Chiefs, 12-5. Started a little slow, 3-4 to start the year. Uncharacteristic of the Chiefs. Defense was letting up a lot of points. Got that ship righted a little bit, though. Notable additions, we got to talk O-line here. Joe Thuney and Kyle Long came on the team this year. Huge. I mean, Joe Thuney, anywhere he goes, that guy
Joe
wins.
Thuney's a pretty interesting guy, too.
Golden Goose, man.
I mean, he's a smart guy.
Hall of Famer.
Oh, he's going to be a Hall of Famer
first
for
ballot
sure.
Hall of Famer.
We don't know what first ballot is anymore.
Oh.
Kyle Long.
Yeah, good call. Sorry.
Kyle Long was a beast.
Kyle Long was a beast.
Oh,
I used to train with him when he was coming out of baseball.
Talk about a freak switch.
Freak switch.
He's got it, man. He's a great dude.
Now, when you see this Chiefs team, what are you thinking right now? You probably get
what am I thinking? It's a great question.
You're half of them are your boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, yeah, totally. I mean, I remember being super impressed with that rookie class they had. Like Nick Bolton, another Missouri guy, had come in there. Shout out Missouri.
Creed Humphrey.
And Creed came in, and he had gotten all these, he was the second coming stuff. And as a curmudgeon, I'm like, whatever. And then he'd already proven that he did. And ever since then has been the gold standard of the center position. Absolute dog and a great dude. Joe had come over from New England and really solidified that interior because they had also brought in, I think it was the rookie season, not only for that, but for Trey Smith, who's now a prolific, Pro Bowler. So they had Creed, Joe Thuney, and Trey Smith. What else do I remember? Yeah, they had that kind of slow start, but I mean, this is prime Tyreek Hill. He hadn't got but the nice thing, not the nice thing, but the interesting thing at this time was that Tyreek and Travis weren't the only stalwarts. Like they had Byron Pringle, who had just come about. They had a run game with Clyde's Edward-Helaire that was going nuts. And then McKinnon. Yeah, and he was playing great.
He was out of the backfield.
And then that defense had really found its mark and became the number 1 defense, or maybe the number 2 defense starting in week 11 or 12. So it just felt like it was going to be right and just, man.
Freaking Spags, turn the dial, man.
Spags, I got to tell you, utmost respect. Our paths never crossed, but the man's a genius, and he's really a kind dude.
Yeah. He's a footballs guy.
He is a football guy.
I mean, he's been in the game forever. He respects good football. He respects good players. And I loved competing against those kind of guys.
No doubt. Yeah, he was solid. And they also had a pretty, now looking at it on the right, like they had some really underrated players like Tershawn Wharton. I'm sure I fucked that up, but he's an unbelievable football. Like their second D-line coming in, especially in the interior, was really solid. Jaron Reed had come over. I think he only spent 1 year there, was playing pretty solid. Chris was playing out of his mind. And then Frank Clark, especially in the postseason, was possessed.
Huge.
And he had a motor like a son of a bitch. Mike Dana, now at the Bills. But so, I mean, they just all over the place. And then Melvin Ingram had come over. And I mean, he was in our division when I first got into the Chiefs with the Chargers. And he was bookended with Bosa. And then he went to Miami and then came here and maybe even a stop with the Steelers. But he was incredible. So a really good team.
Now, this is your first time looking at Andy Reid as not your coach. Are you sitting there thinking like, man, I remember those Fridays he used to drop those crazy third down, roll to the right, hit a flat route pass. He's going to do that against here.
Oh, you know he's going to do it.
I mean, every fucking time, third and short, fourth and short, we're just going to roll to the right, hit a flat pass.
I always thought, why do we not do this every third down?
Every third down.
Any third and 5? Or anything in between.
Third and short.
Third and 3, third and 4. Come on, dude.
Roll out. What's the craziest play you saw Andy Reid draw up?
Oh, man. Okay, so we had a guy named Dontari Poe. He was a D tackle. He's about 360. And he drew up a play called Bloated Tebow Pass. That's what it was called. It's crazy. It was insane.
Bloated Tebow Pass. I know where it's going.
I love this.
So it was, at the time it was Alex Smith. He motioned out. We had to do silent cadence for this just because we didn't want Dontari to have to do, or any person who wasn't Alex have to do a verbal cadence. And it was Christmas Day versus the Denver Broncos right after they'd won the Super Bowl. And Dontari had already that year caught a touchdown and ran for one because this isn't the first time. So he does his 3 steps, jumps, throws it to our tight end, Demetrius Harris. Touchdown, place goes nuts. But then he would also do like some, weird shifts where guys would just kind of like move and do fun. But like the really like fun, quirky things where the offensive linemen were doing twirls was by the time I was gone.
Yeah.
But when he gave Dontari Poe the opportunity, there it is.
Oh my God.
It's a great play, dude.
Against the Tebows.
Frame that, man. That's insane.
Yeah. And Dontari that place was lit up. Really. One of those games you talk about where you can just feel it. One of those moments where you feel the air. It's a little crisp. It was solid, dude.
Andy, I feel like Andy's great at naming them too. Like then he just named like French fries.
Well, yeah, I mean it was fat sensitive too. The bloated.
Yeah,
I mean, what a
caring. He cares.
Guy knows his teammates.
Freaking Andy.
Knows
Love
his
that guy.
teammates. Let's jump into these Bills, Jackie.
Let's talk about the Buffalo Bills, baby. The 2021 Bills, 11-6. This is Sean McDermott there. We got Dayball, friend of the show, leading the offense here. Second straight AFC East divisional title. This is kind of when that shift of becoming big dog on the block was happening with these guys up in Buffalo. DeMar Hamlin's rookie season, Spencer Brown's rookie season, high-powered offense scoring over 28 a game, number 1 ranked defense, number 1 ranked third down defense, yet no Pro Bowlers on the defense. Unbelievable. No respect out here. Really high point differential here, and all losses were by 1 score. So, a Buffalo team that was pretty much a wagon here.
Those 2 safeties. They love playing with those 2 safeties.
Maybe.
Yeah, those dudes are solid. Good folks.
How is skee ball? Dayball.
This is the perfect situation for Dayball in Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
You had that defense with Robert Sala and zooted and booted, ready to roll. Then you have Cam Ward on the precipice, I think, of being brilliant. I think he's got it, right? And then you have Dayball, who's this young quarterback whispered. I mean, they're going to air it out 60 times a game.
Yeah.
But they're going to put up points, and he's going to learn a lot, the Cam is.
I can't wait to see. I mean, that's NFL's undefeated storylines every year.
He's anchoring they're calling it the bald squad. They have nine bald assistant coaches.
They have 9 bald coaches.
Yeah. They got the graphics and everything. Hold on, let me toss it up here.
Wow.
Yeah, Dayball really holding his own there as a leader of this group. Insane.
Wow.
Got out solid. Yeah, that'll be a new era down there.
Aaron Whitecotton, he was with the Bills for a bit.
What's so
Look at Gus Bradley.
look at freaking
Shout
Look
out
how
Gus
bald that
Bradley.
team is, man. I think Robert's a brilliant defensive mind, man.
Why?
I just think that those defensive play, especially because I think about those Jets teams, especially, they were just suckers, dude. Those guys would just hum, because it's play, rush the passer on the way to if they're running the ball. It's just like you're gonna get your bell rung 30 times a game playing that defense. It's wild.
You got to tell me what it's like playing in Old Orchard as a Buffalo Bill.
R.I.P.
Because I know
Oh,
I
man.
enjoyed it playing as an opponent.
I'm sure he did.
Because it was like a frat house. It was like
It was.
literally you roll up and you're out of college.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting dildos thrown on the field. You're seeing kids flip you off that are like 2 years old with their parents.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a beautiful. It really is. It's because I didn't have that experience until my last year in Jacksonville. We went up there for a Monday night game
yeah.
to see the other side, and the windows are tinted to a certain extent on
Yeah.
the buses. But I had because I'd heard this. I'm like, that not the fella, not the crew, not the mafia. And yeah, man, they had like lightsaber sized dildos and just those kiddos were flipping the bird and but because they kind of see the silhouette and they see it's me. Oh hey, see you.
Yeah.
I loved it. I felt immense pride. I just beaming, even though we got our tails kicked. It is a unique experience. The one thing that was a blessing and a curse at times was having that one tunnel to go down. It definitely made tensions palpable at times, but also kind of, there was something cool, I'm sure for you guys too, when you're breaking down your sunlimit and like the opposing team walks by, kind of a little friction, just a little tension, nothing crazy, but just feeling the anticipation's palpable for the game.
Yeah. So when you enter Buffalo Stadium, there's only one hallway. And the locker rooms are like right next to each other.
Maybe
So
close
you
quarters.
guys, they walk out of their side, we walk out of our side, and we walk down the tunnel together
Yeah.
pregame.
Mm.
It's gonna be the only stadium that does that, right?
I think at the time it was, but I think it was either the old San Diego Chargers or the Coliseum.
Qualcomm.
The Coliseum would do that. One of
Yeah.
those. You remember playing
That
those?
sounds
I
right.
never played in the Coliseum. I played in the
Oh.
old San Diego though. San Diego's
Dude,
awesome.
San Diego had like the
Qualcomm?
horse stables is the
Yeah.
yeah.
Qualcomm was tight.
It was cool.
Well,
Yeah,
out
you're
there.
like tucked up in like a hill.
And Phillips kind of doing his thing.
I
and-
just loved going out there. We get to go out a couple days early.
yeah, that was the cool flying.
The
Like you
cool
flying right over the water. The houses are right on the hill.
Exactly.
That being said, playing there was one of the greatest joys of my football career. Man. It just seems to matter a little bit more in Western New York to those folks, and you feel it, and they embrace you, and it was such a privilege to play for that team and to feel the love and share their disappointment when things weren't going well.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a matter. This is just me personally. Now I can't believe the Pats are back in this division doing this. It's insane. It's insane. It was wild. I was really impressed, especially that defense was incredible. I think Drake's the man, truly. But I think it's a matter of when, not if, for this team. And I want to see more than anything Western New York burn.
Yeah.
Like Philly, they say it's crazy when that thing goes down. I'd like to see Western New York kind of light a fire. And see what happens,
It'd be great for sports.
Yeah.
It would be great for sports. Let's get in this game lead up.
Oh man, what do you think about this new stadium, by the way?
So we got to do a little tour of it. Yeah, it's gonna be special. It's gonna be a whole different vibe in regards to there's actual seating now, but they were very cognizant of keeping its roots in Western New York and the little subtleties, and it just seems there's some grandeur to it. It's going to be a fascinating place to watch football play.
I can't wait. It's outdoors still.
A dome
One
would
of
have
the
been
12
sacrilege. Yes,
One of the
Finally.
12 new stadiums that is only grass and outdoor, I think.
Yeah, it's a beauty. Yeah, the grass thing. The dudes are stoked.
Yeah.
I was there I didn't know there was grass farms.
Oh, yeah.
There's places in Jersey where like certain, it seems like, so they had just flown in the grass from the grass or driven it up. They were installing it there. So it was cool.
There's some fresh grass.
Fresh grass, dude.
Man, let's lead up this thing real quick. Kansas City entered as the 2 seed, Buffalo the 3 seed. Mitch mentioned it earlier. Buffalo was coming off what they call a perfect game against the Patriots, scored on every drive, didn't punt.
Oh my God.
That was a beatdown. You remember that one? We've tried to block that one out.
Beat down.
That was brutal. but
sunk the ship.
it did. That was rough.
But earlier that year, you guys had come in and
They
ran
won.
and threw the ball 3 times.
Yeah, the win game.
That was insane. What do you remember about that game?
It being insanely cold. And Mac Jones is one of my best friends.
Yeah.
But, he's doing his little
Shimmy.
oh, dude. I tell him all the time, I'm like, why do you make it so that people want to hate you so much when really as a dude, he's unbelievable person.
Yeah.
He's a great teammate. I think we've all matured in this thing, right?
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, he was 22 years old.
Yeah. And when I had him in Jacksonville, it was great. That game in particular, right place, right time.
Yeah.
Everything went well. Sometimes it just goes well for you. And everything lines up and everything did.
Now, do you think playing these guys, would you play them
Week 5.
week 5? How much did that help going into this game? Or was it different team?
We were both very different teams,
Yeah.
especially that Chiefs
A
team.
little early.
Especially that Chiefs team on defense. They had this light switch moment where they just honed in. Chris Jones hadn't played that game too. So they had missed a few guys. So yeah, I mean, it was nice to go in there and feel that, especially that was the first time we played them since the AFC Championship game where we lost. But I mean, we had the wherewithal to know that wasn't really going to matter much.
What was the mantra leading into the week of prep for this?
The mantra was, I mean, we understood the magnitude of it. We understood that this was the team that eliminated us from possibly going to the Super Bowl the year before. That being said, I'm sure the teams you've been on too, it's like we know what's gotten us here. We understand that mistakes will be amplified. This is the biggest stage. But don't change up what you've done because we know what works. You have to keep it the same.
I mean, we used to get the same speech. Don't be taking any extra pre-workout drink for this game. Don't do anything different.
Yeah, don't.
Look, we've been doing this shit all year, fellas. Look, we've been doing this shit all year. That's like the shit we would hear.
The haze in the barn type vibe.
The haze in the barn. Let's get into the game.
All right. If you don't know about this guy, you've been living under a rock. This is unbelievable. Arrowhead, playoffs, division round. This is when that rivalry is really starting to bubble up. And we start this thing off with a long 15-play, 71-yard drive. Singletary kicks it off with a big run. He was so hot around this time.
Went for it 4th down twice.
Once at midfield, 4th and 2. Then again, you get in the red zone on the 4th and goal. Going for it on the first drive in Arrowhead. Like, Mitch, what was the script like, and what was that drive kicking things off like?
Yeah, I think we understood the monster that was on the other side, which was that Chiefs offense.
Yeah.
And you close your eyes, point someone, they're liable to light you up, right? So we knew that we had to take every opportunity we get, and sometimes we had to create it. I do remember coming into this game, we were going to be aggressive on 4th down, which is great. It's liberating.
Yeah.
It's a super liberating thing.
And it worked out.
And then a little bit of the story of this game, the Chiefs respond, 13 plays, 74-yard drive. Pat had that huge 35-yard scramble right up the middle of the field, gets it done with his legs again in the red zone, punch it in, 7-7. We're keeping serve here.
You guys were also running that quarterback power to the weak side of a bunch.
Man.
Ran that quarterback power, a lot of pin and pull with the quarterback, a lot of pin and pull, like Dayball loved pin and pull front side, will lock in the backside of the offensive line to make it a play action pass or give it an option. So that Kansas City drive right after, Pat scrambled 3 times, I think for like 52 yards, and those scrambles were insane. So immediately you knew.
Demoralizing too, isn't it? You guys
it's
on the road, get one on. We put 7 on the board. It's just that's the ebbs and flows of a playoff game, man. Like you're cloud 9. Yeah, we just accomplished one of our goals. They come and score right away.
This was full, just trading body blows, trading blows. Come out in the second quarter. Pardon me. We got 3 punts. Little weird on this one, but man, Hawk flipped the field with a big one down to the Kansas City 1. That was a great punt. Shout out the special teamers, baby.
Shout out.
The special teamers were on.
God.
Now, when this game unfolded, you guys, like we just talked about, you guys score, they score, clearly adjusting to the adjustments game. Then you go 3 punts. When did you feel like the game was kind of settled and we knew what it was about?
Yeah, So we knew the Chiefs were an incredible second quarter team. We were kind of getting into the fold of this thing. When did I feel like it really settled down? Probably like 5 or 6 minutes left in that second half. That's usually when I felt like most games settled in.
Wow, that late?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I never believed in settling in. Like you really found the groove of how this game was going to go early. And then I feel like you have to reignite that. I feel like that even when you go in halftime, there's a reignition unless there's some huge discrepancy in score. But yeah, we knew, especially after we traded a few punts, had a few defensive stops on both sides, that this game was starting to settle in.
Yeah, and we see Kansas City get the next win here and get up 14-7 with a Byron Pringle touchdown. Defensive holding, one of the few penalties in this first half, extended that drive. Dane Jackson, 3rd and goal, that kept it alive. Then it's a minute 52 left. Buffalo down a score. Got to get aggressive here. Yeah. Under 2 minutes left. Go down 7 plays, 75 yards in a minute 15. Get a touchdown.
Long
Cole Beasley
drives.
was big. Cole Beasley was big on that drive.
Bees was
14-14. Then you give him the ball back with 37 seconds, pardon me, and Butker missed a 50-yarder, uncharacteristic.
I know.
Big miss though.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a stick now. When that happened, you felt like it breathed a little life into the fellas. The stadium definitely because it was so uncharacteristic, especially I was with Harrison. He's automatic and just like talk about mental fortitude. That dude's got it up here. Like he is just built differently. To see that was just kind of I couldn't believe it.
What's McDermott saying at halftime?
He was
Keep
always
it on
pretty
the
good.
gas.
Yeah, he was always pretty good at halftime, which was like kind of reiterating what we talked about. Not too high, not too low. Keep your foot on the gas. Violent and aggressive, yet in the realm of execution.
Now you guys get down double digits here.
Yeah.
23-14.
Yeah.
How are we feeling at that point?
If I remember correctly, they come out with like an 8-minute drive.
Yep. Big.
Ooh,
Jarrett McKinnon,
That's
15-play drive,
time-consuming.
64 yards. Ends in a field goal, which is a little bit of a win.
But it's still
it's
a win because you take off that much time and you're still coming away with points.
Yeah, 13 plays, 7:59, almost 8 minutes. You're right, Mitch.
But I remember I felt terrible for our defense because they had this 15-play drive. Then we go 3 and out.
Yep, real quick.
And then they get back out there, and I think they score a tud.
They do 5 plays, 61 yards. That one ends in a McCole Hardeman 25-yard run. He was electric.
That was an
game.
incredible.
The reverse.
Incredible play.
Classic Andy.
So you guys go down 10. Now how is Josh feeling in the huddle once you guys are down 10 in Arrowhead against the team you guys that everyone struggles against?
Yeah.
Like what's his vibe in this huddle when you guys are about to start kicking this thing on?
Right. So it kind of goes back to the very beginning of this conversation is those great quarterbacks, right? They have that it factor where everything just kind of tightens up, especially in these moments where everyone else is kind of, their sphincters are slammed, right? When these guys are in a really good spot. But we all understood because this is kind of how the script had gone for the year prior. Like we kind of let it get away from us in the AFC Championship game. He's always just kind of fired up about just executing, doing your jobs, just enough to kind of get the troops riled up, not too much where it's like some strange soliloquy that we've all been around those dudes that try to give you some strange like.
Now,
all right, buddy.
Was Gabe Davis over in like Anaheim with Danny Glover before this game? Angels in the outfield because this guy had 4 tutties
like
in
Mike's
a playoff
shoes.
game.
Well,
this guy had the best game in the history of his life.
He's such a stud, dude. There's been no greater.
You got that reference, right? Angels in the outfield?
Sure, Angels in the outfield. Yeah, of
sure.
course, brother.
Gleefully.
Oh, and I got it once you said Angels in the outfield. I was a little bit like you said. Dan Glover didn't get me at all, but Angels in the outfield, I'm all about. I was a little bit behind. Gabe's had a few tumultuous seasons with injury, but this game in particular,
I mean, he shined.
Shined.
I mean, 4 touchdowns. It was incredible. I mean, you guys were beating like blitz 0 on those explosions. Were those blitz 0s?
Well, so they actually didn't blitz very much at first, and then they started giving it the business and going, and then Josh was able to step up a few times, and Gabe you talk about the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, but you can only step up a few times because there were some like real blitz looks, and you guys ended up getting those huge explosion touchdowns plays where guys are wide open, and it's because they had that 1 second.
Totally.
If you have you just got to hold them. That's the one thing for blitz zero. You either have to have a combination that's going to win quick, or you're going to have to hold them up.
2 take 3, man, and just pray to Jesus you get that football out,
And
and just
he
let the
gets
whitest guy go.
And this is in that same moment right now. We talk about getting down 9 points. What's Josh doing? Rallying the troops. Guys, we got to get something going here, and you got it fast. One play, 75 yards. Bomb to Davis. We're right back in this thing. It's 23-21.
So
That felt good.
how are we feeling? 23-21. It's just like the same thing. Guys, we know it's going to be up and down, just fucking in the middle.
We were a little fired up after this one.
Fired
just
up.
because you felt like if we'd
knocking.
sputtered again, if we'd done another 3 and out, our defense is getting no rest. They go down, score again. It's well more than a 2-possession game. We're going to have to get some turnovers. But that was you could feel it. You're talking about putting yourself in that stadium. That just, oh man, that felt good.
I mean, when you quiet down Arrowhead, it's a hard place to quiet down because they get rocking.
It's
a great feeling.
It's a rambunctious place.
That's how you quiet them down. You go score.
Gotta score.
It was
Shut
solid,
them up there if you can. And not to take anything away from Gabe Davis's insane performance, but we do need to backtrack here real quick. In the second quarter, the Honey Badger concussion out.
I mean, that
was a big
first drive.
Yeah.
First drive, and he's out. I mean, yeah,
and they didn't have McDuffie yet.
Nope.
No,
So you guys were exposing them.
It took a while. It took a while. We were just trying to, but then around this time is when we started airing it out, and Dave's was doing his thing.
Keep chipping away.
And then talk to us about that last minute.
Unbelievable.
That last minute of the game.
Of the game. You guys are down, right?
Well, so I think we get the ball back with like, 8 minutes left in the game, and we go on a 17-play drive.
Yep, right after a field
And
goal.
then it's fourth down with I think like 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. And Gabe does one of these out and ends, and the guy trips his feet, and it looks pretty. It's not. I'm sure it's not really fun for him to watch, but it wasn't like he just tripped over his feet. Anyways, Gabe goes in there, scores. Now I think we're up by 3. And we're feeling good, but there's still a ton of time. So we're feeling like, all right, we're in this game, but nothing's over at all. They go down. I think they convert a big third down with Travis, and then Tyreek hits this run that he was in peak form because he also had a punt return at this instance that almost broke for a touchdown.
Yeah,
too.
they got
set up the
3
field
out of
goal.
it.
Yep.
So he was on fire this game. Goes down, throws up, chunks up the deuces. Just some real Houston hip hop reference for you. Chunk up the deuce, and then he goes in, and then it's like 1:06 left in the game. And we had just gone on the 17-play drive. We know, and we had to kind of it was a grinder.
Are you running out of plays by this time, or is?
Are you guys but Dave's also carried 70 plays. He carried in like 4th.
Because you guys are playing a lot of plays at this point. I mean, these were long drives. You guys probably had 100 or 88 plays.
Yeah, it was a pretty substantial amount of plays. But that's also the great thing about the playoffs because usually cooler nights, catch your breath, and you're not getting too warm.
And you're in shape by then.
Dude, Pops was chunky as fuck, dude. I'd already gained my baby weight. We looked like Michelin men, all white, terrible look. That being said, we go down, and so like this game, we had Cole Beasley who made some really key third downs.
Catches,
and Cole's the man. Like I love Cole. Emmanuel Sanders on this drive had a huge conversion because if he hadn't even caught it, it was thrown for a flag. And Emmanuel Sanders was also, rock solid. And then Gabe also had another big catch. We get down, I think it's first down maybe on our 25 with 17 seconds left. And then, it's interesting sometimes when you're in the blocking situation, especially when it's we talked about that sub personnel or this 4 down where especially at center, it's fucking awesome because rarely are you blocking one-on-one.
Yeah.
So you're helping your guy and you kind of feel it. You don't hear it. There's something about it. You might hear or you feel the balls just escape.
By your head.
It's out. And so immediately you're seeing this and you're trying all in a split second to diagnose something you really don't know, which is the back half, this secondary, what else? But everything, he just kind of opens up, catches it, and it was just on the field in the moment, pure elation. Because you felt like at the time, it was just this huge emotional roller coaster and release. It didn't feel like you had the game by any means, but it's just like, holy shit, like, I can't believe
it did feel like you had the game. There's 13 seconds.
13 seconds.
Yeah,
left.
I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you. Maybe it's my eternal pessimism. Just being
I'm like that too, though.
You know what I mean? Like, until the clock hit 0.
Like this was not full celebration moment. We got this thing.
No, I mean, guys were feeling it. And even yourself, like, even me saying that, it was hard not to feel like, I can't believe this is probably going to happen.
Yeah.
There's that little dude in the back of your head that knows what's going on the other side with conversations. The dude over there who's just cooking up plays, and the fellas who can just slang and bang. And yeah, dude.
And so that was 30. You guys score
36-33. Bills are up at this point. As we said, 13 seconds left. Kickoff. 3 plays, 44 yards later, sets up the Butker field goal. This time, drills it. Sends this thing
nails
down
it.
Which shows, which you got to give him.
Yarder.
You got to give him his kudos on that, man. Like, you go out missing a PAT, and I've been
missed
around
a PAT earlier. We forgot to mention that.
Gostkowski did that with us a couple times. Missed a PAT, then came back late, kicks a game winner or a tying field like that. That's almost more impressive than a guy going 5 for 5.
Oh,
a guy that misses that shitty one at first and then nails a 50-yarder to get it going.
I totally forgot about that PAT too. Yeah, and you knew it right when it's set up. You knew he was going to nail that.
You guys go to overtime. You lose the toss.
Again.
What goes into your head?
Again,
lose
the toss.
What goes in your head? Did you right there?
You son of a bitch.
Did you right there think that you lost the game? Or it was going to be tough?
Oh, man. Just with the way the game had gone, you thought maybe there was a chance. But, I mean, once they started marching it down and once they got into the red zone or the high red. And then Trav does this thing. And, it was kind of a similar instance, this feeling of just, it's hard to explain. It almost doesn't hit you at first, right? Because it's just like your mind, even your subconscious, trying to comprehend what the hell's happening. But you see that celebration of the guys, and it kind of brought me back. And I hate keeping going back to that 2018 game, but it was like right when you guys had scored that overtime, and David Andrews that did one of these, like, it's just like freaky dance to the to the side. You know what I'm talking about? Did one of these things, and you just felt it in your soul. And walking off that field, because I lived 25 minutes away from the stadium. So I was going to go home, fly home, do exit interviews, and fly back to Kansas City. And it's so hard to explain that locker room afterwards. I've been around some disappointing locker rooms. Emotions are, you don't know when they're going to catch you or not, how they're going to catch you, when they are. And it was just raw. It was raw, dude.
How long did it take you to process this, that you guys lost that? How long? I mean, it's hard losing in the playoffs and going home, but like to lose in that fashion with the ups and downs of climbing mountain. You had to climb a mountain. You climbed the goddamn mountain.
Sure.
And then you had to and then it gave it back up. I mean, that takes some time. That off season must have been tough.
For me, it was interesting because I was going home to a new kiddo. So that was a great palate cleanser, right?
Very good.
Going home to my family, of course, in my neighborhood, all Chiefs fans, but I had kick-ass neighbors who took care of me, and they were very kind and understood where I was at, and they were great. So that helps a ton.
How about that?
Totally.
That's pretty cool. He loses in Kansas City first year in Buffalo. Then he's going to go back a day later after his exit physical, and he's going to go sit there and probably have some Kansas City barbecue with his brand new little beautiful baby next to some Kansas City fans.
It's a unique experience for sure. I remember the first year I left, they ended up winning the Super Bowl, and I'm sitting there watching the Super Bowl in Kansas City, and the fireworks kept us up all night. It was such a weird feeling because it's like you're your friends.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what? I'm not going to sit here, and I was meant to be in Buffalo at that time, and time marches on. Right. But it was always a strange instance for them to keep going back, and me just being in my living room there, or in Overland Park, Kansas, just being like, fuck, dude, come on. Like, give us one shot. Give us one opportunity. And the Chiefs fans are always very kind to
They're
Bills
pretty
fans.
actually kind. Like
They're great fans.
they're not really assholes.
No.
Like they'll motherfuck you and they'll do some stuff, but like they're always pretty polite.
They're great. And they're solid as a rock. And it is really one of those fun stadiums to drive into. You can smell it before you see
Now,
it.
Jets fans, on the other hand, no, I'm just
No, it's true. I remember going to MetLife. I think of the first game of 2023, and we're driving up there. It's Aaron Rodgers' game where he comes out with and he ends up unfortunately tearing his Achilles, but so place is on fire.
Yeah.
And I'm with Dalton Kincaid, who's a rookie. It's his first game, sitting in front of me, and this kid had to be 8 or 9. Grabs a hot dog, chunks this. What a cannon this kid had! 20 yards, it would have hit him right in the face, mustard and everything. And then they just like moon him and are just like, ugh. And he just looks back at me. I'm like, dude, yeah, this is
welcome to
it's the NFL, but also welcome to MetLife.
Yeah, welcome to MetLife.
Man. Welcome to MetLife.
Man.
All right, what's the aftermath of this thing?
Oh, let's put a bow on this thing. The Chiefs would end up winning this thing 42-36 on a Travis Kelce touchdown.
Instant classic.
Kansas City would move on to their 5th straight AFC Championship game. Then they would fall to Cincinnati at what they renamed Burrowhead, 27-24 in the AFC Championship game. This game would win the SB Game of the Year for 2022. And this, of course, would cause them, one of the causes, to change the overtime rules, ensuring that both teams got the ball. Tyreek Hill would leave for Miami in free agency later that year. And then Mitch, of course, would go on to play 2 more seasons. This was not only heralded as an instant classic, set tons of record. Gabe Davis broke the playoff record, had 4 touchdowns in a single game. That's a playoff record. 3 go-ahead touchdowns in the final 2 minutes.
Jesus.
Playoff record. But no, this was all-timer, instant classic. We're still talking about it. I feel like this is going to score pretty high.
There's no turnovers by either team either. So
And clean game. Wow. Great call, Mitch.
We'll get into it when we score this thing. Let's get into it. Let's name it and score it because I want to get into it. Now, let's name the game. These are some names that we came up with, but if you have a name that you have, we'll go with that. We came up with the 13-second game, 13 seconds, the Gabe Davis game, or anything else.
I would say the Gabe Davis game.
Hey,
I would say the Gabe Davis game.
Go.
He, what he was able to do that game and those big moments, not even those touchdowns. There's a few. There's one catch that he bobbled going out of the sidelines. He did this toe drag. He was just on fire. He was an all-day sucker. In the biggest moments, he came up clutch.
Man. Score the game. Is this the greatest game of all time? Let's score it. Mitch, decimals encourage, buddy. We encourage those decimals.
So
Amen.
you want
Figure skating
so
scoring.
how preface this? So
we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Let's pump the brakes. Pump it right here. Eminem, we got you. Stakes. The stakes of this divisional game.
0
to 10 decimals encouraged.
The stakes.
The stakes of this
Oh
game.
man, 9.1.
9.1. I would say it's a 9.3. Just because for me.
Oh wow. Okay.
At a 9.0, Kyler went 8.9.
I see it.
We're all in the same little
We're
group
all in the
here.
same.
That's nice. That actually feels nice. They're all together.
Yeah.
That's good. I
Clustered
like
up,
that. It
baby.
feels really nice.
Let's
What's
go.
the star power of this? Now, let me tell you. I mean, this is an instant classic, right?
Yeah.
But when it's all said and done, there could be 2 top 5, top 8 guys of all time at the most important position. Pretty starry.
Yeah. I mean, you think of like the 3 amigos over there at the time with the Chiefs. You got Pat, Trav, and Tyreek. And then you have Chris Jones, who's possibly Hall of Famer. All 4 of those guys are probably Hall of Famers. And then with the Bills, Josh. And then a few guys whose careers are still being written. Star power, if you just look at those numbers and then the guys who played well, I would say even more than the stakes, probably 9.3 for me.
I'm going to go with the 9.2. I mean, you got
Good score.
Pat Mahomes and fucking Joshy.
At an 8.9, Kai guy went 9.3. I don't know why I was so low, but All right, we're still in the ballpark.
I still feel like we're all together. Which is
Lustered
cool.
up,
Like,
baby.
even though was that you?
I don't know why I
even
did
though you
that.
fucked that up pretty good. Like
I
we're all
know.
in
Usually
this.
I'm a high score guy. What's getting into me?
Yeah, this is great.
God.
What about the gameplay? 0 turnovers, unbelievable special teams plays, unbelievable explosion plays,
Right.
unbelievably long drives from both teams.
Yeah.
High execution in this game.
4 touchdowns. for
13
Josh.
seconds.
3 from Mahomes.
A minute.
On that itself. I know
Overtime.
Bill Burr would disagree because he likes a little more defense on this thing. I would say gameplay for me would be 9.6.
9.6 is,
That's strong, but rightfully so.
I think
that's a 9.4 to me.
I'm with you. Let me see. Where did I give it here? I went with a 9.8.
9.8.
9.8. I
We're
got
all
with
back,
9.1.
dude. We're all back. This feels
back,
nice.
baby.
Now we're feeling
We're
good
all
again.
even
This is
out
nice.
here. Water is finding its level.
Nice.
in
You know
the
what
name.
else is nice?
What's that?
Your restroom has like all the assortments of like Altoids.
Yeah,
and
you
that
know.
feels good.
That's Leah.
Shout out.
Shout out
Thanks for
Leah.
noticing,
Shout out
Mitch.
Leah. That feels very homey in there. Thank you. Oh yeah.
We got a couple
Yeah.
smelling salts in just in case you want to get a little
Do you
lift.
really have smelling salts in there?
Yeah.
I haven't done one in. I don't know.
We might do one after this
We'll
episode.
have to do one.
All right. I haven't done one. Oh man.
It's just,
I feel like I haven't done one since like the first Trump administration, to be honest. Man. It's been a while.
in a minute.
4
bit.
years you stopped doing them after a while?
I didn't do
I like to do them before every drive.
I was
Give me
going
a
to
little,
say.
oh, what the?
Yeah, I don't know. Like someone got me with the every team's got the dude with the bottle.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I no one. If you need the prep, but if someone just gives you a drive by and you're not expecting it, it makes
It'll
me want
fuck you
to throw
up.
up out of my ass, dude.
Yeah.
I just it's terrible.
It's not everyone. It's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone. No, and
Now
I would. Yeah.
Kind of banned, kind of not. Who knows?
No, the problem with that is now it's like the team can't get it, but now
Right.
you're going to get some stuff. It's like dudes who want more milligrams of nicotine in their thing, so they go to Sweden and get the 30 things. They're getting these things from China that are going to melt your melt your nasal.
You're gonna
cavity.
Who knows
forget your
what kind of
game plan
chemicals
after
we
you
have.
take
Yeah.
one hit.
Whoa.
Whoa, where am I? All right, let's grade the name of the game. The Gabe Davis game, 4 touchdowns, NFL record.
This one's got some staying power.
The name, we grade the name 0 to 10 decibels.
Okay, so I'm going to say there's the only reason I'm going to get it lower. It's still be in the 9s, but you could like the 13 seconds game, all that stuff. It could
You can
I'm
combine
going
them.
to 9.0.
You can combine the 13-second
Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis game.
That would cover it
Because
all.
that
It's
would
a little
make-
bit.
yeah.
It's a little bit long winded. That's the only reason why I would say like.
But the only thing is, that's what everyone's going to remember it as.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna remember the 13 seconds.
13 seconds.
So that's the thing. So that's the only reason why I dock it is like for the guys who were
Yeah.
in it or no ball, they know it's Gabe. Everyone
Immediately.
else,
Exactly.
There's no mistake in
no
this
doubt.
one. Yeah.
No doubt.
I'm going to go with an 8.9.
solid.
I like
can give
that.
it. Yeah, that's solid.
I mean, these are some of the highest
I went
score.
9.7. Kyler went 9.7.
What this is going to be the
This is
highest
going to be
game.
really high. This is going to be insanely high, Leah. Calculating here. This is a 9.26.
Where does that land on the list?
That puts us at
Number
number 3.
4.
Number 4, yes. Right
The
ahead of
Super
the
Blood Wolf Moon.
That was the game we mentioned
18 that you
earlier.
were talking about.
Yeah.
Wow. Really, really good. New number 4 game. Yeah.
Jeez.
Pretty good.
We've had some hitters. We did the World Cup game yesterday with Argentina versus France. It's Messi when he won the World Cup versus Mbappe.
Are you going to make any games?
Huh?
You going to make any games?
Oh yeah, Boston.
Dude, how was the roast?
The Kevin Hart one?
Yeah, I saw you with Bert
It was awesome.
laughing your ass off.
Yeah, no, the roasts are always fun. I was actually I
they
enjoyed
feed you?
this
Do they
roast.
feed you at those things? Like, do they give you?
There was a cheese platter and it was stale cheese. I tried it. The cheddar was like,
You know, it's interesting.
Will we
Like
leave it for
the
4
the
days
cheddar
out?
isn't gonna be, but some of the cheeses like they come out like yeah.
yeah.
That sucks.
It was
I'm
a
sorry.
charcuterie board, but
Yeah,
they didn't really
Just-
feed us.
Yeah,
they
but-
they gave us drinks.
But dude, the thing for me is like charcuterie boards. As long as there's more, I give them props if the only fruit. I don't give them props. The only fruit they have is just grapes.
No,
If they have more than grapes, if
You
they
gotta
have
have a
if they
dried
have a
apricot.
fig,
You gotta have a
or an
fig.
Don't sleep
apricot
on a
on
fig.
there.
maybe have maybe a raspberry jam.
Yeah,
I was
oh,
also
jam.
a
That's
little
solid.
disappointed because there was no meats. It was
Whoa.
just a cheese
Yeah.
charcuterie. I mean, this
Yeah.
is LA.
Yeah,
and we should have options.
Yeah, but if American Airlines is going to give you more on their charcuterie board.
No, I'm just joking. The roast, it was spectacular. I enjoyed it. It was an unbelievable night. It was fucking, I mean, those things are crazy, bro. Like,
I wasn't expecting Tom to come out there. I assume you had the.
I saw Tommy.
Yeah.
I saw Tommy. I gave him. We ran lines a couple times. I had to work him out a little.
That dude wears
pregame.
watches, man.
Yeah,
that dude wears watches.
What was it, a $5 million watch?
No,
Something
it was
insane.
like, I don't know why I get on these things. I get on these weird, Instagram things where it's just like, look at the Met Gala's watches, and I'll watch every single one. I don't know dick all about watches.
I don't either.
They could be making these numbers up. I'm like, whoa. But Tom's, like some guys were like, this is I'm like $70,000 watches. And then it's Tom's wearing just, normal stuff. And his watch is like, something by Jacob & Co. It's all fucking diamonds.
It's like $10 million.
$1.4 million. I'm like, all right. But a dude like that uses those as an investment.
Yeah. I mean, he's also.
What are your thoughts on cards? Like trading, like some people are into
trading cards?
Yeah.
I used to love it as a kid. I mean, I used to go buy.
But like pokey.
But now it's become a huge, commodities are huge right now.
Cyclical thing. We talked about like pinatas are back in kids' parties.
The watches, like I would always consult with Tom on, I only have like 3 watches, and I would always consult with him because he knew, hey, if you get this one, you'll maintain money. Just like you said, he makes money on all this stuff because they're pieces of art to him. And when you get access to certain, I don't know the game. I'm not a watch guy. I have a couple good watches.
But it's good to have people who know.
But it's good to have people. Totally. And shout out my boy, Jeff Lifter.
Shout out Lifter. We love Jeff.
Lifter, he's the watch guy.
It's another great name.
Jeff Lifter, great.
I call him Camshaft.
Just for all our watch heads out there, the Bezel Boys, page 6 says $6 million estimated. It was an off-catalog Rolex Sea Dweller.
Sea Dweller.
What he was wearing?
Diamond infested.
18 karat white gold, fully
Diamond
set, but yet
infested.
cut. Square cut diamonds.
I swear I went into his.
It's going to be expensive if it's called infested.
I went to his.
There's just so many. It's infested with diamonds.
I literally went into his green room and I got pink eye from the shine. It was so shiny, his watch. I got a pink eye instantly. No, I didn't. It would have been funny. It would have been funny.
I was going to say, dude.
Oh, man.
Pink eye's, yeah. Pink eye's great. Pink eye's great.
Shout out Pink Eye.
Shout out fart in your eye. Mitch, did we miss anything from this game?
No, you guys covered it beautifully.
Man.
I'm very impressed with your ability to break that down.
Oh, appreciate it, Mitch. Thank you for saying that,
Got a
man.
gift.
Jackie,
I appreciate it,
He puts a lot of hard time into that.
Yeah, and I can tell.
It, man. I appreciate
well
it,
done,
man.
Jackie.
He
cool.
fucking rock star.
Yeah, he is.
Everyone's got their
it,
role, and everyone does their role very well here.
I appreciate
the
it.
bathroom.
Leah, bathroom.
I'm also the bathroom attendant when the
Let's do
episode's
it.
over.
You'll see the
Banging out
social and Mitch and Matt, and then Tim over here keeps the cameras rolling.
I've been peeking over. Tim seems kind. Tim's got kind eyes. I like Tim. He's cool.
Let's go,
It's like
baby.
the first time you hear the Beatles is when you look into his eyes. Everyone, go check out Mitch's podcast, In Good Company with Mitch Morse. What is that podcast about?
Yeah, we're just so the
Who's
reason
it with?
Who's it with? My buddy Casey Hahi. He was with the Jags. He was a video guy. He'd been doing that with the league for a bit, and now he works he runs the studio for Dick's Sporting Goods headquarters. They have their studio, and so he also does like commercials and stuff. He's a Yenzer from Pittsburgh.
Nice.
They're the best.
I love the Yenzers.
They're
man.
the best. And you know what's fun is just like he's got a good soul. And for us, we just like to talk. Football is what we know. And we love to interview folks. And I've been so fortunate to interview folks that I didn't even know I wanted to talk to, but I did. And it's one of those humbling experiences we talked about. And you just get lit up. Everyone's got a story to tell. And for us, we just want to have more opportunities to talk to more folks. And everything else, all the other kind of cool stuff that comes with it, I think if you do it the right way, will kind of come to the fold. But for us, our biggest thing is we just want to have more opportunities to talk to cooler people.
I mean, in good company.
And try to keep some pretty good company, dude.
Amen.
Conversation.
Since we have you here, we'd love to have you on at some point in the foreseeable
Without a
future.
doubt, I'm on.
I got to say that Labatt sponsorship is fire too.
Hey,
Well,
bro,
that's a dope
Labatt
sponsor.
takes care of the kids.
you know,
yeah.
I'm a Sam Adams guy myself, but I'll take
Hey, you know
a
what?
little
You know what's
gander.
great? You know what's cool? And I'm maybe Labatt will drop me after this, but Sam Adams does have some really good seasonal, like especially around like October.
Oh yeah.
Oktoberfest. Have
in
you,
October.
if you like lager, I got an Edelbra.
Oh, so that you're invested in the game.
I don't know.
Edelbra got his own beer.
I got
Big
an
time.
Edelbra.
This is an honor.
No, we have our city, our what is it? It's our city, our
Derek White, Big
our
Z.
city, our beer.
Our city, yeah, our beer. There it is.
No, Labatt's was our first. It was the first company that gave us any. They gave us their blessing and gave us a little backing, and they've been so great. And they're really just like, do your thing, and they're going to have us up. And
It couldn't be more perfect because
it's perfect.
Lyman and beer. It's like fucking pigs and shit.
Yeah,
They're
no,
happy.
it is. Yeah,
You
It's-
just give a Lyman a beer, or not a beer. You got to give them like a 24 or 36 pack because they drink like.
we have
15.
we like to think we do. We have fairly gentle dispositions.
No,
sometimes,
yeah. And
But like a post game, you talk about a post game. Okay, so I know you have places to be, and your guy's been. Oh, he left.
we were
Yeah, he'll be fine. Your guy left. But talking about those moments where you can put in pill form and you'd be a fucking billionaire, dude. We talked about it's not being able to sleep on a plane ride home, but like when you go on an away game, you break down after a big win. Those 2 hours, talking about kind of the same vein as the 2 hours in training camp, but those 2 hours after a win, you hit the showers, you go, and like it's even like between when they're loading the stuff up in the bus, like remember the buses before you take off,
Yeah.
like under the stadium, maybe
after a win.
only after a win, and then you like the equipment guys maybe have snuck you just some beers and maybe
Couple beers. You snag one of the boxes of food that is being given.
It's going
to
to give you. It's a fart factory coming down the pipe always, but you can't help it, eat it, and
Some of the best times were right after the game in the players' lot. The linemen, they would always crack open beers and they just sit there and all their families. We'd be in the parking lot like we're tailgating after the game, drinking a beer.
That rocks.
that is a beautiful experience, especially like you have the one Brandon Sheriff. I don't know if the name sounds familiar. He's, in my opinion, would have been a Hall of Famer if he didn't spend most of his time with the Redskins. Just an absolute horse of a human, and he would always. In my last year in Jacksonville, we would always stay he would just pack a cooler the night before, and we'd sit there and. I mean, you have to drive home, so you got to be cognizant.
Yeah. But of course, that beer for you was always Labatt Blue. And
Always
for me,
Labatt.
mine
Yeah.
was always Sam Adams. But we could always have a beer together.
Yeah, that's nice.
There it is.
That's nice. That feels good, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Man, had a blast, bro.
Brother, I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you coming on, and you said you're a fan of the show. I'm always a sucker for Lyman as a former quarterback. That's the guys I love to hang out with the most, love to eat. They were always the coolest humans. It's been a pleasure to get to hear your story and appreciate you coming into the house, dude.
I appreciate it. Let me enter your humble abode.
Yeah.
See how the juice is made, and also like this is like, as not to pander, but from the outside looking in, you guys got something special. The chemistry in here is kick ass. The Altoids in the bathroom really made an impression on me, and I appreciate letting me come in here and chew the fat, man. This has been a blessing.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Appreciate you, brother. It means a ton.
All day, bro.
It really does.
What is it like to learn an NFL playbook?
What's it like to learn an NFL playbook? Well, it's you're back when I came in, they give you the 3-inch binder.
I was gonna say it was actually a binder back then, right?
3-inch binder, which is the big boy, or what is that, right? And
3 inches is huge.
yeah,
3
3
inches is
the
massive.
big one.
It's massive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they would give you that, and there'd be a table of contents. There'd be, I mean, it was laid out professionally. This was the pros, you know? And you had like at the top, you had special teams slots. Then you had the offense install slots. And then when you get into offense install slots, that would break down to, you know, a whole bunch of things from formations, personnel groups, splits, informations. They would have protections. They'd have all the side adjustment rules. They'd have all the hot adjustment rules. They'd have everything. Everything was broken down fundamentally on there. On like you could find it in the playbook. Now it's transferred now to the iPad, which is probably way cleaner and way awesome. And I remember we did that later in my career for the younger guys that were coming in. But I mean, it's literally like the encyclopedia of everything that the offense is about. I mean, we have an example up right here. That's exactly how it looks. It'll have the basic, and then it'll have like the defensive line. They'll have like how each play goes against each line. It'll break down each coverage. It'll break down everything that the defense does. You can communicate. Like, what did Gruden say? Recognition, communicate, execution, RCE.
Yep.
So you'd have to recognize what's going on after you learned your formation, personnel group, split, potential motion, potential shift, like all those things. That's in the beginning, and then it goes into how things change against the defense. I mean, it's literally, it has every single bit of information that the coach will explain to you, and it's much like the textbooks when we were kids, where you could read that. And if you could do that, it'd be great. But I was always a guy that would, I had to study it. I would look at it while we were installing it, while the coach was addressing the classroom. You would go through your playbook and you would kind of highlight. And then for me, a lot of guys, guys like me, receivers, the receivers always, I was a guy that used flashcards for personnel groups because there's like 60 different personnel groups. So, on Rangers, that's what is said before the play. That tells everyone who they are. Rangers, the personnel group. Our Rangers, an 11 personnel group, where, example, Danny goes to the F, I go to the Z, LaFell's on the X, and Gronk's at the Y. So there's 3 receivers, 1 tight end, and then whoever's in the backfield is in the backfield. Then you would have regular. Regular was a 12. So then regular puts me at Z, LaFell at X, and then there'd be 2 tight ends that would come in. So you'd have to go over that. So I would always flashcard personnel groups and formations, because if you fuck that up, you weren't getting a rep.
How often are you shifting between these? Like, so is it when do you find out that you're like the Z and Ranger? Or
That's
like, how often does that change?
You find that out through the coaches.
Like weekly?
Weekly. So if they'll give you a group of personnel groups that we're going to highlight this week, we're going to use these six personnel groups: Rangers, sub, half, and another one.
Regular or something?
No, regular is a 2. Those are all 11 personnel groups.
Okay.
So these are all these could be the same. There's 3 receivers, 1 tight end, and 1 running back. Like sub, half, Rangers, Army, Marines. Those tell like every guy which spot they have to go into. So you could make a play for a guy. Instead of changing the whole concept, you could just change the personnel group. So if you're trying to get Danny at the F, instead of putting him at the F, you just change the personnel group and say, now Danny goes, you know what I mean?
Right, that makes sense. And then tag it from there.
Tag it from there. You would never tag, you just say Rangers.
Okay.
And that would tell everyone where we all go. I'm at F, I'm at Z, he's at Z, he's at X. All right, and half, I'm at F, he's at Z. Half again, I'm at F, but maybe half and sub, everyone's in the same spot, but the tight ends change. There's a new tight end in. You know what I mean? So the personnel groups are they were a bitch to learn.
I was going to say.
Then there's a formations. So then the formations, they would break it down. All right, guys, we'll have these 8 formations and these personnel groups, and then we could have these 7 empties. And empties were, whenever, the quarterback is empty and there's 5 guys on the line of scrimmage, 5 receivers. And so like you'd have to learn what each formation was, because you'd have to put the F in here, the X goes outside, like if you're an empty, and it was just a whole lot of studying. And so once you got those down, then you'd have to learn defenses, because things could change, then you learn your concepts. So you go personnel groups, formations, and then you learn concepts. There was concepts that were 2-man concepts, and there was 3-man concepts. So like read was an in cut by one, and number 2 has an option route to the outside. And so conceptually, you were trying to high-low this backer. So that's read. Now, a 3-man concept, or ice is another one. Ice was where this guy has an in cut and this guy has a cross route. So that you'd learn those 2-mans. And there would be 3-man concepts. And so you're basically learning how you're building in your mind how the quarterback calls the play. So first thing you're going to hear is personnel group. Then you're going to hear formation. Then you got to learn your protections, because after your formations and concepts, you got to learn the protections, because the protections could change your route. If you are a side adjusting, or if you're depending on if you can get it protected, the receivers would have to know, because if it's only a 5-man protection, there could be a hot and a side adjustment if you're in an empty. So you'd have to see where the mic point is and communicate with the quarterback. The quarterback he would set the protection. You go, Mike 52, which is the front side backer. All right, you go, check easy. We're going to Mike 54. He'd change the protection, and he would look at me and he'd say, Jules. So that makes him the Mike. He's the Mike. He's the Will. Or the Will, or the Sam. And then the next guy would be a different slot, the Jack. And so then he would look at me and say, these two. If those 2 guys came, if he said 2, then I'd have to break my side adjustment. Now, if he looked at me, Tom could look at me and he could say, hey, Jules. Wait, if he did that, that means one or the other. If any one of those guys come, you got to break. All right? But if he said 2, you got to go when the 2 guys come. And sometimes they would come and one guy would jack out. So you'd have to get on route. All right. And then so another one, he could look at you and he could sit there and you see your guy on your face coming, but Tom would change protection all the way over here. So he'd make that guy the Mike who's on over me, the star or whatever. And he would sit there and he'd go, Jules, you're locked. So if regardless, no matter what, whoever came, you're locked on the route. So that's when you'd have to study your protections. So you go personnel group, formations, concepts, protections. Whew. And that's kind of, then you'd break into how defense was involved.
So if you're locked on the route, that means you run the route.
No matter what, it's the play call route.
You run it as it's drawn up. Okay.
You mentioned side adjustment. Explain the
hot is to the strong side.
Okay.
So when the Mike and Sam come, that's a hot.
Okay.
The side adjustments to the weak side. Okay. So it'd be like a will and a weak safety. So like if this guy, so you have your Mike, Sam, Will, right? You always see the quarterback making
middle,
the
strong,
point.
weak. Yeah.
So what he can do is, though, he could change. Well, we always think that this guy's the Mike, right? Because he's near the tight end, the strong side of the passing strength.
Yeah.
Well, he could change and make that guy the Mike.
Yeah.
So then it would make him the Mike. The guy to the right of him, who is the star, would be the Sam.
Yeah.
Meaning that the line can get it protected. And then this guy who we think that looks like the Mike is now the Will.
Okay.
So the line could take care of the Mike, Will, and Sam. You know, that's when other guys get involved. That's when side adjustments and hots get involved.
So then side adjustment is like
to the weak side.
It's to the weak side. It's a changing the route based off of the formation.
Changing the route. A hot and a side adjust could be the same kind of thing for the receiver, but it's just telling which side they go. So if it's to the passing strength, that's a hot. If it's to the passing, so if I'm sitting here, right, and we make him the Mike. He's the Sam. So whoever comes off here, you're hot.
So you're going to fill that space where they were.
Depending on what the hot is, it could be a burst. You have to like a 5-yard hitch, full speed. You can't lollygag it because then they sniff that and they'll break. So you got to come off the ball hard every time. That was like the number one coaching point to any kind of side adjustment or hot. You got to come off because defense is fucking smart.
Oh yeah.
You know, they'll sniff that bullshit out if you come lollygagging off and then they break and it's a pick 6 because they got a guy coming to that area. But if you're sprinting, that guy doesn't know where you're going. So he would be all scared and he'll be less hesitant or less aggressive to break. So getting back, strength is hot. So to our strong side, right? So this guy, we make him the mic. Anyone come off that Sam, you're hot. Anyone coming off the Will, you're sighting.
And then you just have to read if they're coming.
Well, depend. Yeah. We have to, but the quarterback in our system, we had Tom Brady. So he was the ultimate reminder. And when he was dishing out his protections and getting stuff, he would tell you. And the good quarterbacks do that. If you look at like Peyton Manning and all those boys, they would sit there, all right, I'm locking you, because he changed the protection. And the protections are the most fascinating things. That's why offensive linemen, like not only do they have to be choreographed in such a great manner together as one, like they're dancing, but they have to be able to see shit, body language of the guys. They got to be able to break down the defensive fronts because things change. The protections change if there's a 3 down or a 4 down. Like that's when we got to start, you know what I mean? But that's more of the defensive offensive line. You really only need to know the backers.
Now, if it's a run play, are you a part of the protection call too, or how does that work?
So run play on certain run plays, depending on the mic call, you would always have like the 6 man in the box, right? So the 6 man on the box, or is it the 7th? It'd either be the strong safety coming down, or the star, or it would be that corner. If one of the safeties dropped into the box, you'd be responsible. If it was a 6 or 7, Scott Chatio's gonna kill me. But a lot of the times, if on certain plays, run plays, the quarterback would lock you on your guy over your face because they have a line, like on a trap play or something. You wouldn't come down and get the force because we're having a lineman come and pull to get him, or the line is adjusting up to that guy. You know, you'd always, for the most part of most of the time for receivers, they're blocking skill guys, safeties, corners. Now, when you see the guys on the bunches, the receivers on the bunch, a lot of times you're seeing with like the Lions, San Francisco, they'll have their receiver, St. Brown, he'll set the edge and he'll take out at the end, and then they'll pull the tackle and the guard on those toss traps. But like those are like one-off plays, and they'd have to be condensed down. You're not really going in and getting linebackers because that's usually for the line. There are certain occasions where, like in Seattle, the Seattle Super Bowl, on the backside of this, I forgot the run play, but there was a backside play where I would go up and the linebacker would be in my face, and I would go up and go to the safety, and you could fully get him. But then there would be times where they could lock you, and you'd have to just if you're on the backside, you have to get in his way because to cut him off for the front side of the run. But most of the time you're going against the smaller guys, unless it's one of those specialty plays. The playbook, I mean, this and everything for the offensive line, and you have everyone's.
You have all of it.
You have all of it.
Okay.
So you could go through the offensive line part and see, the shades, because like they have a bunch of stuff on they divide the guy 1, 2, 3, what shades they are, and you could learn all that. It's like an encyclopedia of everything. Fundamentally, they have in your playbook, they have a whole section on just the cadence and the snap counts.
Wow.
You know what I mean? The going on 2, going on 3, color this, color that, gold calls, or, to change plays. There's an audible section. Every way to communicate anything, it was in the playbook.
That's incredible.
What
if you got, say, how much was getting added during, say you install a play from week 6.
Those are all the
5.
fundamentals. Now, once you get in, this is all training camp.
Right.
And there's a lot of it is a test to see who can retain what. And you won't even have to if you listen to the coaches, you're not just going to sit there and be a guy that, there's smart guys that'll sit there and read the playbook and they can digest it. But if you go along with the coaching, you know, that'll help you the most.
If you're paying attention in class,
If you're
you don't have
playing
to read the book.
Right. You won't have to go do homework.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to reference it.
For sure.
You know what I mean? It's just like school. It's fucking just like school.
That's crazy to think.
There's some guys that can sit there and read the formations and do it. I mean, I had to put them on flashcards and concepts. And me and Hoyer would sit and bounce them off of each other because, you know, when you're a young football player, a lot of the evaluation of you is how much you can retain.
Oh, I believe.
How much can you take from the classroom to the drills to the team periods? That's the huge, like one of the biggest evaluation processes of these young football players. Because once you get to to get to your point, once you get to the regular season, okay, that's all fundamental. Now new plays, game plan plays come in. And so you're going to have to be able to install 10, 15 new plays each week, potentially on what that team's weaknesses are.
Are those getting sheets to go into the playbook?
So each week on a Wednesday, so you have your big ass book, and then when you come in, then you get, back in the day, they would give you sheets, just like those sheets. And you'd have all your pass concepts on there, all your run concepts, the install for that week's prep. And so some of it could carry over to some of the stuff that we already learned in training camp and in the install, but some of it can be completely new and completely different. But if you lean on your fundamentals of what you've learned in training camp, you'd be able to communicate and understand it, because it'll still be this. It could be the same. It'll be the same language, but it could be a different concept or a different protection or a different personnel group that's incorporated into it. So it's just like finding out the puzzle.
So to simplify the playbook, the organization of it, you mentioned personnel, you mentioned formation, protection, concepts.
Concepts. You'd have snap counts. That's usually at the beginning. You'd have splits for receivers.
And what is that? That's
splits
like,
are, so in certain formations, in certain plays, in certain concepts. So like on a, say ice, if you're the outside receiver, which ice is an in cut and a crosser. If you're the outside receiver on ice, you have to have a +4 split from the number.
Yards?
Yes.
Okay.
Then there was also a +2 split on certain concepts. Then sometimes there was a -2 split. So, and then when you get into like certain formation buzzwords, like nasty tells everyone that you're condensed. So then you'd have those in the playbook on buzzwords for formation splitting. You'd have a whole section on movement. So movement is shifts and motions. So for us, if you heard if the suffix was ing, then you're coming in. If the suffix was app, you're coming across. So if you're the F and you hear fing, you're just coming in for a pass play.
Because the fing is FING. The F is going in.
So if you hear zing, the Z is coming in.
Ying.
So zing.
What if you hear fap?
The Y
fap,
is.
You're going the other way?
Fap.
Huh?
Fap, because it's AP, right?
Fap would be a cross for a blocking for a run play. Fap. If it's fac AC, then you're going across for a pass play or something.
Okay.
Then there was zig, IG. You hear a lot of that with the slot. That's going into the guard and back out. So that's a formation indicator. You're seeing what kind of coverage you can get. Then there would be the Y shift. All that's telling you is when you hear your letter and shift, you're starting on the other side and you're shifting over and we're resetting the play to that.
So if
you hear H home, that's just telling the home is one of those buzzwords for a shift. For the H home, he's coming from all the way outside the receiver back into the home spot. So there'd be a whole freaking table of content, or what is it? A chapter on that.
Yeah.
Man. You know, so I mean, it goes into everything. Then what
else beyond that? I want to hear all the different segments.
there was Fing, Fac. There was Fing, Fac, Fap, Zig or Zig. There was Z Shift. Then there was H Home. You could use all the other letters for that. You have, and I'm probably missing one. Yeah, that's you'd have there, and there was probably a couple others. Then there was there would be what was this? There was a fast one, like a fast motion. We started doing that. So
that's that Mike McDaniel with
Mike McDaniel. Yeah. There'd be the fast. It's like a rabbit zing, or there were certain buzzwords for that. If I heard it, I'd be able to do it.
What other like chapters outside of like movement? So we got personnel, formation, protection, concept, snap count, splits, movements,
and motions.
So there is like it's a misnomer that there's actual plays in the playbook.
Well,
it's
then you go concepts, then
concepts
and routes. So then you'd have every single route, like a go route, a in cut. Then there was the 14-yard in cut, the 12-yard in cut, the 20-yard in cut. There was the stopper route, which is a 25-yard like comeback, but you open in and come back down the line. There was a comeback at 16. There was a comeback at 14. There was a 10-yard out. There was a 5-yard out, or 6 to 12. Usually, you'd have your slot routes, which were, then there's tosser, two slants. There's hook, which is a 3-man concept. The 3 has the hook. The 2 has the diagonal. It's something that you always see. And the guy has a MOR, which is must outside release, go on the outside. We're going off to just the knowledge in my brain, and
a lot of knowledge, baby. I'm always curious going back to a lot of these. Like some of these offenses that don't ID the mic is crazy to me.
I think a lot of them do. It's just depending on who's identifying the mic.
Okay.
It's sometimes it's the center
yeah.
in a lot of systems.
Right.
Like a lot of the younger quarterbacks in the West Coast systems, from what I've been told.
Right.
What I heard, the center makes the call.
Okay. That makes sense. But then you hear some of these ones where of course the Patriots are the outlier here in what more than anybody, but like how simplistic are some of these offense? Like, you know what I mean? You hear some of these where like a guy comes from like a really simple system, and it's like, how different is that from like the most simple NFL one to like the Patriots?
I would say simpler offenses are just offenses that don't try to get into the right play and call a play and run that play, and there's no adaptation to that play according to what the defense is doing,
which do exist in the year 2026 in the NFL.
Which do exist.
Okay, that's crazy.
Isn't that the whole thing with the Patriots offense?
But sometimes when you got guys, so that's the fine line,
right?
When you got guys, what a coach's job is to do is to make the player play as fast as he can. And sometimes when you flood the guys' minds with too much, then they're thinking they're not going to be able to play.
Totally.
So, it's harder to get a lot of these complex advantages and complexities of change during play, during pre-snap, during post-snap, because then a lot of guys got to be on the same page at the same time. Totally. And sometimes a lot of teams don't have the luxury of that. Guy gets hurt, young guys on offense, young quarterback can't get it like that. That's very hard to do.
Right. So personnel is going to dictate so much of that.
Personnel dictates what you can do.
That makes total sense.
Was there a specific player concept when you first started that just fried your brain, or just was the hardest one to grasp?
They used to have this thing called the wiggle route, and I used to hate it. And Wes was really good at it. The wiggle route was like, in a West Coast system, is called like the basic. The basic is they would do like, but it was different than the basic. The basic is like a 12-yard in cut. It's usually the slot guy who runs a 12-yard speed in cut and he goes. Well, the wiggle route was kind of like that 10 to 12-yard in cut, and versus man, you had to break it down and give him something at the top and break flat to downhill. If it was one man. If it was cover 5, which is 2 man, you could run the in cut, but if he was walling you off, you could pull it out. All right. And then if it was zone and it was 2 Tampa, you would find the zone. So there was like 3 different things. And I always struggled on like the cover 5 one. I don't know, because I always wanted to whip it out. But if you could win in, you could keep it going. And there's a lot of indecision. And that's the worst thing for a quarterback to see in a route. So you know what I mean? So you had 3 routes, and it took me time to like figure out how to do it. So the wiggle route.
Oh, wiggle.
And then there was like the Q route, which was kind of like the outside version, which the old Q was, if it was rolled meaning covered 2, you had, this guy was letting you go, and there's a half field safety. You run the bow route where you get inside, you reset your vertical stem to about 14, and then you hit a high 7 and let the quarterback flatten you in between the half field safety and the flat zone defender, right? Versus cover 3, it was like a curl route. And then if it was man, you press, you had to get inside, and then you'd run, and then you'd hit like an inside stutter where you could take it. It's almost like a post corner. It was the same kind of 3 routes in one route according to coverage. And it was before like I was comfortable reading coverage post. Now, I mean, I was always actually pretty good at reading coverage. It was just the running of the route for me, and being able to make them all look the same and not dictating. Because like these DBs, man, that they know they're bullshit readers.
But
they
you know,
can
baby,
read
but
it.
you know.
You know what I mean? They could feel if you're hesitating at something, they feel it and they break and they make the plays. They're extraordinary athletes.
Was there a moment where you feel like it clicked, or like when you felt like, oh, I can actually use my physicality versus my like became instinct versus like thinking through it?
I mean, I would say after like my third year, like it was just clicking in spurts, kind of like my golf game. You know what I mean? And then by year 3, I had enough reps of actual feeling it in practice, doing it in the off season with Tom. The amount of reps that I had at that point helped me because I felt every situation at that point.
You weren't topping the ball or slicing that thing into the woods.
Yeah.
And then I got one last question, unless you got anything else.
I think to Kyler's last question, a quick follow-up, but like at what point, not only were you grasping that thing, were you and Tom like mind melded, like full his brain's my brain, like we're seeing the field the exact same way?
That took to like probably year 5.
Okay. I figured something like that.
4 or 5 when Welker left.
Right.
Get those extra first team route.
Yeah, that, and it was, he had to start trusting me. It's hard for those guys to, when you have a guy, when you're a quarterback, and regardless.
Water flows downhill.
Water flows downhill.
One other one, Kai Guy. I swear, I was trying to look this up over here. I swear I remember, maybe my mind's playing tricks on me. I swear someone on the Patriots left their playbook at the hotel on the road in like a preseason game against the Panthers.
$5,000 fine.
$5,000 fine? I was just going to ask, what's the penalty?
That could be conduct detrimental. That could be like a $35,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you'd bring on the road with you, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
but
that thing.
But when you're like now with the iPads and stuff.
When did they switch to the iPad?
I want to say like my 4th year.
Okay. So
Third year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
3rd, 4th year.
Or Microsoft Surface.
DM.
But the thing is, with the iPads, they have more power. The team.
Oh,
so they would collect iPad like during camp and shit. They would collect the iPads after games or during games. You know what I mean? They would collect. There'd be a fucking big ass like home thing,
Yeah.
and you'd have to go and turn your iPad, and there'd be a coach coming. Hey, you didn't turn your iPad in.
They can
So-
update stuff better.
Update,
too,
or
and
they could just wipe you.
they can also keep track of how much you're using.
Oh,
it.
they keep
Yeah.
track of how much you're using.
Big Brother.
Oh gosh, can you go to like websites and stuff on it or no?
No,
Okay.
it's pretty long. I
I
mean,
figured.
my boy Jared had my shit. I had my.
You
I had my
jailbreak?
The
I had
jailbreak.
Jailbreak
Jared,
Jared.
shout out
Shout out.
Titty.
You had Angry Birds on there.
Yeah.
No, bro. I just know what jailbroke was? Me being able to look at the news.
There you go.
Like the fact that I could look at the news. We couldn't even get on Google.
Oh my
But
god.
I mean, you'd be there getting on news and be like, oh shit, hell yeah. Get to see some articles.
Just reading, keeping up with the world, baby. That's hilarious.
One last question. So you were a quarterback in college. Do you
And then so now though, the playbook, the with the iPads, it's so awesome because you could go through all your thing and then you could see you could press a button and see an example of the play against that.
Oh, with the footage.
Footage.
Oh, that's
that's
huge.
cool. Yeah.
So
So,
yeah,
it's a little bit more of like a multimedia experience.
it's insane now. You
That's
have it all on your iPad.
So you were a quarterback in college. Do you
Mhm.
remember a specific like complicated play from your time at Kent
You know
State?
what? I've been trying to do that, and I remember I don't remember the play calling, but it was a West Coast, so there was 84. I'd have a protection or 73, or I'd have a 60s. There were 60s, 70s, and 80s. 80s were I was fully protected. Then there'd be some kind of get open wide, shallow look. It was like a West Coast spread. I gotta call up old Dougie Fresh,
We should get him on the show.
Doug Martin. Yeah, I should.
Shout out, we should.
I think he's at Elon right now.
Let's go, baby. Let's make a trip down to
He's at
Elon.
Elon.
Let's go over to Burlington, North Carolina, and pull up on him.
His wife's she used to kill it in the real estate world.
Ooh, I
She's
gotta see what's
killing
up.
it.
She's probably running Burlington right now.
Probably
I love it.
hustling.
Shout
So
out,
you don't remember
Old
like
Phoenix.
you don't remember like a play call like you
I just remember. I remember the concept. I remember my favorite concept was poker. I don't remember because dude, after hearing all,
it just gets wiped out.
it gets
with-
wiped because I've heard, and then I remember doing that, but because early in my career, the protections were messing with me because 70s we used to have a thing called scat protection where it was 5-man protection only, and that was the same as your 70s protection. So I had a lot of that where 80s was the same as my 60s in college. So then I kind of wiped it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can you give us a quick John Gruden-esque play call?
I mean,
From the Patriots.
from the Patriots, you could go sub, home to Fing, home. It could be home, F right, Fing, ride 134, F bow, ice, alert, ride 130 or alert 34, gap or something. Or you could the thing is it gets wordy when you would get 2 or 3 play calls.
I bet.
So all
Yeah.
you gotta do is say 2 fucking plays,
And it
Yeah.
gets
alert. And so by the time you're in it,
You just know it
when I hear the play call, when Tom would
You know
say,
what you're listening for.
I would hear the protection, I'd hear the concept, and then there'd be a couple buzzwords. You're sitting in the huddle, you hear, all right, Fing, all right, I got a Fing, right? You know what I mean?
No, that's when you're
And
full
how
flow
to
state,
say
yeah.
the play would be in the playbook.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Right there, home, what I say, I told you the H started out, home to F right. So wherever he is, we got to get to F right, which is the formation. And then Fing, telling me to Fing in, ride 134, which is the protection play action, F bow ice, alert, ride 130 or alert 34, alerting to just the run if it was 2 safeties. I mean,
You should get a whiteboard.
I'm not a
and do this.
fucking,
I love that.
Yeah.
I was never I was never you hear all these backup quarterbacks like Hoy Dog and Orlowski, those guys, they could recite their whole thing because they were communicating it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember that struggle from when I turned to quarterback to receiver, hearing a play was different than saying the play.
Yeah.
It took me a while to learn how to hear the play and know what to do than when you say the play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
It's so stupid for me, but I mean, the backup quarterbacks, they were always like, they had to know everything.
Yeah, and they're getting mental reps like crazy.
They're getting mental reps.
You're not out there running a slant with a clipboard in your hand.
Yeah. And you know what I mean?
No,
and once
facts.
you get out, I mean, if I were to go back for, like, that's why I love going back. You know, you go to the Patriots, you can go to their meet, like they let me come sit in on their meetings. Vrabel let me sit in, or whoever the coaches were at the time that I've gotten to sit in on all of them. That's when it refreshes.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like,
All
oh
comes
shit,
back.
okay, now they're doing this. You know, and Josh, getting to sit in Josh meetings,
Oh, yeah.
McDaniels, you know, you could see where the play callings evolved, because now that they're making them less wordy and they're having buzzwords tell like a lot of guys what to do. So it could be like only 3 words, but those 3 words could be protection, concept.
That's
You know
cool.
what I mean?
Seeing that evolution's got to be crazy.
Yeah. And
Love
then we'd
that.
have like a NASCAR package in the playbook where it would be that, where one word would tell
You just know the whole-
everything. So that would be a lot of the things when we were installing like weekly. The coaches would say, you know, all right, we're going to do these 4 NASCAR plays, and they'd break them in. We'd only do it for like those 3 days or 2 days. And then they would say, all right, we're adding 4 more NASCAR plays. So they'd expect you have to already know those ones. And so you're at 8 by week, you know, day 5. And then after day 7, they'd give you 4 more NASCAR plays. So you're building your book. You're building, you know, that's how they would install it, you know?
Oh,
And
that's
so,
so cool.
just for the audience, NASCAR is like a hurry up.
NASCAR would be
huddle,
no huddle,
and then the play calls
speed.
like one word, and you have to know
one word, everyone
protection, like you have to know all
Yeah.
of it.
Man.
What's a word?
go. Like Jordan was like a
Jordan.
Jordan.
And wasn't Barkley one too?
Barkley was
Yeah.
what was Barkley? Barkley was Charlie Sheen. So the Charlie program was a certain protection. So we had Charlie Sheen, we had Charles Barkley.
You gotta know your Charlie.
I love it.
Yeah, so
Charlie
there'd be, and then
McCarthy?
there was
I love that.
Mariano
Charlie
Rivera,
Wilson.
which was stopper. You know, on the outside, he was the best stopper of all time. We have Jordan. We had Ollie, those were our like go-tos that we could always run. It was a fundamental play. It was empty right, or bonsai right, Haas Z juke, which is, you know, Haas and then the Z has a juke route. Jordan would be to the right. Ollie would be the same play on the left. You know, we had Jordan, and then there'd be like, man, I'm gonna get exposed for not knowing my playbook.
You know these things.
And like this is like you guys were lining up, or like you're going from
We
just
can
did
run
the
a
play,
play,
you're running
and-
up. Jordan.
and you just hear John,
Yeah.
Tom would be like, Jordan,
Yeah.
Jordan, NASCAR, Jordan. Everyone get to the line of scrimmage. Everyone know what to do.
So like someone like Ray Lewis that might have a lot of experience against you guys might have some film, might have some tape on like some of these NASCAR plays.
Could,
Yeah,
but if you're going fast, they can know what you're doing.
but you still got to
You
execute.
still got to execute.
that was my thing. This
And
goes
then
back to
you could go Jordan. He could go Jordan, and we'd all set up in bonsai, and then he could sit out there and look at us and give us hook. He could, and we'd all have to look. And if he goes like that, then it changed all 3 of us what to do. There was nonverbal comms, or you could
so
go.
sick.
What you could do is we call a play in the huddle, and you can go Xerox, and Xerox meant same exact formation, and there was no play.
Making copies.
And so you're making copies.
Hell yeah.
And you could sit there and there'd be no plays. And then all of a sudden he would get us into a play
Based off of how they line up.
of how they
Oh,
played.
that's so tight. See,
that was
goes back
called
to-
molasses. That would be in the there would be a pre-snap menu, which motions and all that, cadence. Molasses was, there was no play call, Momo. So he could sit there, what? All right, it's on Mo. You had to hear gold color or like the buzz color for the play to be in. So he could sit up there, and this is how you try to get the defense to, you know, kind of show what they were doing. He up there, white 20. Hot. All right. Lock 88. Hot.
So sometimes
And then you go, gold 30. Gold tells everyone plays on. Gold 30 said hot.
Oh, that
So
rocks.
even on those like
Great
hard cuts,
call,
there
brother.
might not even be a play call.
There could
the
be no
audible
play
out of
call.
it. It's just let's see what you got.
Let's see what we're just trying to get a tell out of the defense.
How often does that happen in a game?
I mean, depending on the defense you were playing, who's a disguised defense.
Man, if John Gruden just heard you do that, oh, the hair on the back of his neck would stand up.
Wide 27 hot.
Awesome.
I mean,
Great call, baby.
You wouldn't know, but how often do you think like McDaniels is in Brady's ear?
He's in there
the-
until 15 seconds.
So they doing
that's
that
why
early?
a lot of the NASCAR. So that's why that's so you when you gotta say you have a really good defensive line, and what NASCAR would do is NASCAR if you could run it out of sub, which is 3 receivers, or you could run it out of regular, but that's hard because then you got guys going in different spots, right? So when you have a good good defensive line, fast guys, NASCAR, what it does is it doesn't allow them to substitute.
We're just huge.
So, and
Then
you
you
can
got
go
one field.
fast. And so if you get to the line of scrimmage, you get to the line of scrimmage with the most time as you possibly can, then Tom and Josh can communicate until 15. So as soon as the other play is done, the 40 clock starts.
That's a lot of time to talk.
40 clock starts, right? So if you're done, say it's a long play downfield, then everyone gets to the line of scrimmage. You use your NASCAR term. All right, we're going Jordan. All right, we're going Charles Barkley. Everyone gets into Charles Barkley. You're there with 28 seconds. You got 14 seconds. If you got there in 10 seconds or 12 seconds, everyone gets to the line of scrimmage by 15 seconds. You got 10, 12 seconds to communicate with Josh. So then they could sit there. Tom can't talk to him, but he can hear him. So then we used to do like muddle huddles.
I love that.
Muddle huddle is kind of like a fast huddle where we're not getting back to the huddle. We're kind of getting back and we're getting near the line of scrimmage and we're yelling out NASCAR terms, but it's not NASCAR. NASCAR means we're going fast.
Yeah.
So muddle huddle is different than NASCAR. That would be in the pre. It'd be so crazy. The gold term, you'd have like the buzz terms and black 88s. Black 88 would be on 3.
Full masterclass right now. This is
You're
sick.
saying the kids at Phillips Andover with Ernie are fucked.
No, because good coaches
Get ready to learn.
Simplify, you're gonna adapt.
They know how
Yeah.
to simplify.
Yeah.
Good coaches simplify.
Amen.
And a lot of the evaluation of training camp is to try to get guys to be anxious about how much there is, to see how much they can handle, and see that, hey, you don't have to know all this. If you listen to the coaching staff, that this is what we're going to go over. Learn those. You know what I mean? It's
tell
all
you the
part
answers
of
to the
everything.
test.
The evaluation process of how you're building your team.
100%. But like to go back to what we said earlier, it's all about like personnel dictates so much of this. Like when it was you and Dolan, Gronk and JoJo, and it was just clicking, and you guys could go no huddle so often. Oh, that was the best.
That was
I
like
love
the
that.
strength of, with Chris Hogan and Malcolm Mitchell and Dola. Like, we weren't like the most explosive group, but the strength of that team was the smart, like the
Everyone's on the same page.
everyone was smart.
It's the beauty of the Earhart Perkins is when everyone's got it.
Everyone
defend it 'cause
was
you
on
can-
the same page at all times.
That was the best to watch. Oh, God, I loved it. Man, that was awesome. Guys, keep tossing
You
these
know what
in
we
there.
should do? People leave comments on YouTube. Maybe we'll get a whiteboard and like pick a play up.
I got to
or do
get my
something like
playbook.
that.
I have a playbook, so maybe we should just expose it.
Oh, fire. Let's go. Speaking of exposing in playbooks, I always think back to that.
Like when you go ahead.
You remember when Chris Cooley got in trouble in the early days of like Instagram? He took a picture, it was like in the preseason, like cracking open the playbook, and he was studying the playbook naked, so you could see his like the tip of his junk in the Instagram
He
picture.
said like 3 like penis related.
yeah,
like
Chris Cooley, what a
things.
wild man.
Yeah.
Keep going though. Sorry, Jules.
Who's Chris Cooley?
He was a tight end
That
for
tight end for like the Redskins for a little
Washington.
while.
Oh, I remember. He was actually a good player. He was a good
47,
player.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why that's taking up space in my brain.
Yeah.
It's us.
3-inch binder.
yeah.
That was a
Putting the
good
3
one.
inch and 3 inch binder. Oh, that was
Yeah,
awesome.
let's
Guys,
do more of that. That's fun. Like,
keep sending these. We love pulling back the curtain, man.
because that was playbook, but that got into a lot of different stuff. And I've always wanted to know how you don't answer it. We'll do it another time. But like,
Hey, you guys got to like,
how you know personnel from the sidelines, when to go in, and how
there's
that all
also
works.
signals.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
So,
Guys.
like-
I'd be so bad at that.
And that goes into like, you practice. That's what practice is for. Like all the receivers are in with the receiver coach on the sideline. All the running backs are with the running backs. And you have to practice those things. Your communication coming in the field with your signal. There were certain signals, half your sub, army. We all had signals at receiver, which probably change, but
Right, you have to cycle through anything that's going to be on tape, signals and whatnot.
you know what? But like, it didn't really change that often.
Really?
So like,
One of those things like, that's our best shot, man against man. We're going to beat you.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. The personnel groups. Man, what a game. 13-second game.
All-timer.
All-timer. Thanks again to Mitch Morse. It was fun to hear his perspective because he was on both those teams.
Takes a big man to come in here and talk about that loss.
It takes a big man.
Respect, bro. What a guy.
Likes pain.
He does.
Likes pain.
He sure does.
The lineman
Just like
loves
us.
the pain.
Hey, he's one of us, baby.
Man, and that's been another episode of Games with Names. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Comment a game you want us to do, and remember,
Rate and review.
and leave us a 5-star review on Spotify while you're there. Remember to follow Games with Names on social, YouTube, Instagram, X, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, and leave a message on those YouTube full episodes. We'll read the best ones in the future episodes. Leave a message on the old hotline. That number is 424-291-2290. And we'll see you guys next week. Games with Names, a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.